wing, Hutto, and now Phil Thorpe's the deepest forward. Bradley's pushed all the way back.
Crows work it up towards the wing. Callagher was good with a couple of goals last week. Just laid it up for Rankin, defended by Butterick, who may be his true opponent. We'll wait to get confirmation of that. Liberatore, Darcy on a searching run out wide. The bounce favoured Laird, as you saw. He had keys ahead, but he decided to be a little more conservative. He makes himself useful anyway from Worrell. And now the Crows can look to move forward with some good rhythm from Cooksby.
He pumps it in the Phil Thorpe direction. Had the mismatch against Butterick. Underneath, Rankin thwarted. Great smother. McAndrew gave it up to Lobb, and he'll clear the area for the Dogs. Look for a reprieve on the wing. Leaps were mistimed by Worrell, and that's the free kick given away.
I think so. Butterick has got the job, I think.
I might have looked at that matchup very quickly, Gaz, and said, I think we want someone a bit more experienced on him.
You're actually right. That's the way it started. But pretty quickly they sorted it out, and he ends up with Butterick.
Slow play coming forward. Darcy to a static setup. Norton was worked forward, and that worked for the Crows as Butts intercepts.
Lobb's got Phil Thorpe now, so they've all had a crack at him. They just sort themselves out.
Yeah, those halfbacks for the Bulldogs, really, whoever was going to take him was going to be probably new to the Bulldogs. That's where they have made some real changes over the off-season. Another free kick.
Poor kick from Butts, kicking high to a 1-on-2, and it was a poor contest from Key, so easy turnover.
Williams was pushed forward for a lot more this year, up towards half forward, but no further. Murray was the high flyer. Takes an excellent grab, but Baker was onto it, makes the spoil, and should run in and kick a goal. Oscar Baker with the first of the night. A hard-earned goal. And one that will be well celebrated by the Bulldogs, Oscar Baker.
That is a cardinal sin for a defender, Jordan Butts, on that occasion. You can't go to ground when the ball's 15 metres out. You've got a contest over a loose ball. You've got to keep your feet and stay in the contest. Too easy. He went to ground. Oscar Baker keeps his feet and strolls into an open goal. Perfect start for the Dogs.
Yeah, it was, they had numbers back there, looking for a change of direction. Heads up play from Baker. It's been a bit stop-start at the moment. This was a bit at the Adelaide Crows last week against Collingwood. They didn't rush, as has been the status quo across the comp. They've been a bit more measured when they go forward, and on this occasion they got picked off.
It looks more like a 70s footy card with every week that passes by. The headband gets bigger, the moustache fills out, and he's got a hard-earned goal, as Hutto referenced. English trying to win the skirmish in the middle. Dawson's got other ideas, just committed himself absolutely. Rankin tracks back, fast hands. Laird goes into the top 10 all-time, the Crows, for games played tonight. Jones is the new man in. Put it through McAndrew, and now to Peatling. Checked his kick, and it got through Tex. It nutmegged him. Lobb pushes the other way. Cook was always favoured in terms of territory. It's too wide regardless.
You know when they get out, why they go wide? They got one-on-one. They got O'Donnell v Phil Thorpe in forward 50. You've got to ask that question early.
Yep.
Why you go wide to a 50-50? Go to your big man.
Cook got himself into a tangle. Barely got out of it, really. Richards versus Neil Bullen. Well played by the ex-Demon. And then more of the same from McAndrew. While you're on a good thing, O'Donnell and Carter's had to work things out. They eventually do. Richards was going to kick, but saw the releasing handball. Good pressure by Rochelle, but he gets the kick to the wing. Davidson handled it well. Bontempelli, always the sound man to give it to. And suddenly it's Dale sending it deep to Fraser or West. He's going to try and keep Worrell occupied. Fraser missed. Pretty easy goal earlier on. That was a much more difficult task. And he gets the same result.
You talk about O'Donnell on Phil Thorpe, Gaz. Well, he passed the first test. He played a few metres in front, and he grabbed that loose ball before Phil Thorpe could impact.
And now he's done the smartest thing and handed over the club.
He's kept it out of the clutches of Lobb. Rather than the front half turnover, it's a throw-in instead. Bulldogs make the best of the early rain.
14 marks, Western Bulldogs to none at this early stage.
Richards swoops on the footy at the back, gives the forwards a look. Darcy's coming from deep. Murray's got to be good. Norton's wears him close. Had support. Norton stayed on. Coming. Was always going there. And the Dogs are going to kick a second goal
It's a brilliant start. This is hard work goals, not the fancy slick ball movement and high flying forwards. This is an intercept from Baker deep in attack with a heads up play that gets him a goal, and now there's a tackle in the goal square that turns the footy over. This is just icing on the cake here.
Joel Fraser, this is his third shot in 8 minutes.
Amazing.
Fraser to make a good thing of this, and the Dogs are boldly out of the gates.
Well, I don't think there's anything that a coach likes more than goals coming directly from pressure, and that's what the Bulldogs are doing at the moment. They haven't allowed the Adelaide Crows to settle. I reckon he was a little bit stiff. Aaron Norton, he was closing down. He had this tackle all lined up, and Fraser comes in as the second tackler, and he gets the bigger piece of the body and takes the free kick from directly in front.
Perfect, Jason. So 14 marks to nothing is quite extraordinary. They've both kicked goals from 2 forward half intercepts. Now, when you're thinking where these goals are going to come from pre-game, you're not factoring in 2 forward half intercepts in the first 2 goals. Great start.
Crowd trying to generate their own excitement. They have not had a lot to cheer about so far. Western Bulldogs have really made the running here. And they've had all the scoring. Joel Fraser's done most of it. 1 goal, 2. After the English tap, Rankin's in the middle against Richards. Michael Lanny, Bramble, Liberatore, Dawson.
It's really interesting watching Ed Richards. He's alternating between on ball and coming off half back.
He got it out of the middle then to Fraser, who, a peculiar quick decision that he made to kick it wide to Williams, and Cook was able to hunt him down. The 2 wingers, and the umpire says it's over the line.
So he was back into that last ball up. The ball up before that, he started at half back and then just charges into the square, not really worrying about his opponent.
Great start for Luke Beveridge's men. Peatling with a release kick. Here's the lob versus Thilthorpe battle. Well, he wins it at ground level to Key, so they get a bit of meterage. Karmas, probably happy. No, he doesn't take it over. He's able to work in nicely with Dale.
Outstanding.
Now they can, they were about to get more adventurous, but it got away from Butterick. Back up was good. Bump it Tally. Back to Bramble. Manoeuvres his way clear to Butterick and Bramble, and Dale, who takes off, sets the chance for the Dogs to go forward again. There to meet it is Norton on the wing. A pause, a wait. No decision yet. So well covered by the Crows.
Tim English has pushed hard forward, as he has been doing.
Davidson is down there as well. It's a bit of a standoff. Worrell's really the only one to go for the footy. But it's a free kick to the Dogs. And guess who's got it? Joel Fraser.
Gee whiz. The fundamental difference early in this game is that the Western Bulldogs can transition from one end to the other in a heartbeat. They have no problem going from their defensive 50 forward, and the Adelaide Crows, on the other hand, have really struggled.
He was smart, Fraser. He made sure the umpire saw the contact. It was minimal. I mean, Peatling slid to ground with his hands, but Fraser just ran over the top of it.
Hard to believe that this young man has only played 38 games of AFL footy. What an impact he's had in his career, and what an impact he's had tonight. 4 scores already, 2 of them goals, and the Bulldogs lead by 20 points. The Crows have barely had a sniff.
And this is what Tom Hawkins was talking about pre-game, is that, yeah, there's Bontempelli, and yeah, there's Richards, and there's not, but there's depth in this side that takes you beyond that. And so now all of a sudden Fraser's just turned on an opening quarter that's opened it up to
Leroy.
And you're right, JC, he milked it absolutely beautiful.
Just
Adelaide Crows fans.
So far, they're just really clean takes and really efficient, the Western Bulldogs, and Adelaide have been the opposite. So that might be something we can do at quarter time.
So this is an interesting watch here. So the Crows just struggling to move the footy at all. 14 marks to 1, and they're down 20 points in the blink of an eye.
There's a few hauntings of semi-final night in this.
Yeah, there is. The last 3 scores here, Jared, have been 59, 55 and 67.
English takes toll out of the ruck. Richards onto it. Dogs come forward again. It's a bit wider than would have been intended, and it was there for Murray to intercept.
Let's see if there's any urgency in the ball movement here. They're pretty slow and stayed early in the piece.
Butts and Worrell and Miller, who was prolific last week, picking up the 10 coaches' votes. Going nowhere in a hurry, though. Here the Crows. Once again, Pressure closing. It's not a great kick. Richards had the sit. Archie made the contest. Sanders and Fraser again, but not this time. Berry tries to break the Crows into open space. Tossed it out in front of himself and regathered. Kicks for Tex. Now Rankin's got a one-on-one deep with Buku. That's where it's going. Rankin. He played the ground ball. Buku covered him so well initially. Trying for a little bit of magic against the boundary, but it's elusive like so much for the Crows so far.
What about the value of BK15? So he can play, he's played on Philthorpe, and now he probably might have got away with one. That's their better ball movement. Come up with the footy, Tex Walker through the middle of the ground. Then they look dangerous.
Philthorpe and Lobb. Fell to Dawson. O'Donnell just takes the territory and plenty of it. Out to the wing, Butts had a clean run at it. Jumped up and took the mark impressively. And this is going to be a big moment for Jordan Butts. His 87th game of AFL football, and he has never scored.
I was about to say, I'm not sure what he's like in front of the six, Hunter.
Well, no one knows.
That tells us a bit.
Four of his teammates have run to him to say, now you know you can have a shot.
Can he compose himself? Because they desperately needed the Crows.
50 metre was what, for just holding on marginally too long for Davidson.
So Jordan Butts. Brings the Adelaide crowd to life and kicks his first goal in AFL football. And at last there's something to celebrate for the Crows.
They come from everywhere. All 17 players besides Butts went over to get a piece of him, give him a pat on the head or a push and shove and a little bit of a celebration. That's fantastic. He's had a couple of dodgy moments early with a slip that cost him a goal, a couple of ordinary kicks coming out of defence, but now he's the loose man behind play, backs himself, he takes the mark, the contested mark while others were wrestling. Now he gets the benefit of the 50 and he kicks truly, something that the Crows needed so badly.
An unlikely first goal scorer, let's say that.
I think so.
He and Murray are really solid down there, but creatively they don't have much. They win their footy. They've just got to get around and hand the ball off and get some run from the back half. Because they found some voice down that Adelaide crowd.
That is the road less travelled. Dogs get back to work in the middle, but Berry ensures that Kennedy can't break free.
He punctured his lung in the game against the Dogs last year, ended up in hospital.
Rucks lean into each other, the understudies, and it's still Thorpe's ball. Walker the first to lead. Kicks going the other side of the goal front though. Rochelle up one-handed. Cook is chasing the loose footy. Baker's trying to cut the angles. Baker arrives in time.
He'll be disappointed, Taylor Walker. He did put in a good lead. He was 5 metres clear. Probably should have been honoured by Riley Thilthorpe.
Pedlar's now the deepest forward for Adelaide. You've got Walker and you've got Thilthorpe who's in the ruck and you've got Fogarty and it's Pedlar deep.
For all the stars out there between Fraser and Butts, it's not what we imagined so far. The Brittore 16th season at the big level. Kicks it to half forward. No mark for Butts. Jones lends a hand. Murray has to be good. Not quite good enough. Liberatore always disrupting. Sanders a chance to set the Dogs up. But not to be as Butts is everywhere.
Back in his more regular domain, back in defence. Michael Aney puts distance on the kick to Archie. And suddenly there's a bit of spirit, a bit of spunk about the Crows. Coming. That was an ambitious kick and it fell well short of Walker Selwood. Mark and release.
25 marks to 1. They've taken 1 mark. The
intercept marks.
He was a little unlucky, Isaac Cumming, because all the Adelaide forwards had moved away. They were in impossible positions. They gave him no options. Tried to kick it long, couldn't get it over the top. There.
Haley Williams tries his luck out wide. The Brittore does remarkably well. Through Butterick and then Williams again. Hines is going to be outnumbered. Murray with the spoil, Berry with the hands. Miller is going to have plenty of company. Some of it was his own teammate. Neil Bullen back to Murray, and that's better. Isaac Cumming waits again on again his kick. Flirted with a lot of danger. Long kick, Peatling, that's better. Walker on the end of it, and the Adelaide crowd rise to the 35-year-old former captain. One of two Crows remaining from that 2017 grand final, along with Rory Laird. And there was a question about whether he'd go on this year or not, but he did.
Yeah, too good a year not to.
Yeah.
And this is very kickable for him.
Well, they've taken all their marks in the back half. Now they've got marks in the dangerous part of the ground.
So Tex has kicked a goal in each of his last 12 games against the Bulldogs. And his Pompic had kicked him from 55. And he's lost nothing.
This is what he's capable of doing. Taylor Walker from outside 50. Love the option from James Peetlinger. He had a wide, short option, but he looked further afield. He saw that Walker had led deep, wide, just around the 50-metre arc, and the longer option would put him in goal-kicking range. A beautiful kick, as we see the two big Adelaide keys, Phil Auburn and Walker, both come off for a spell at the same time.
It's a little bit more expansive. I'd say Bulldogs instead of Crows. Mark's okay, but that's safe. So you've got to get forward at some stage. So go forward, go a bit more aggressively, give your forwards a one-out look. They've been able to kick the last two goals.
And the two Adelaide goal kickers, Taylor Walker, 681 goals. Jordan Butts, 1.
The journey to 700 for Tex. Probably the last great milestone of his career, having passed 300 games in the final series last year. So on a short leash for the rest of the night, the Crows on the 666. English clearly down to Sanders, just enough to get it to Liberatore. Dogs are inside the 50 again. Darcy reaches up, swatted away from it. Ground contest to win. Sanders followed it up, missed it. Berry has a go. Cumming trapped it momentarily. English, Fraser, Sanders wanted someone on the run by. Nobody forthcoming, so instead he goes for the mark of Hines out wide. They lead and he goes for Norton.
Well, and this is where the new rule helps too. Because normally you would get pulled back behind your mark in line with the centre of the goal. He just walked to the side. The man on the mark couldn't move, so he basically played on, and if the umpire doesn't call it straight away, the man on the mark stuck.
Yeah.
And he was able to kick low where the man would have smothered it.
He's in the hottest phase of his career, Aaron Norton, but he starts with a behind tonight.
Still a little centre bounce. Domination early for the Doggies. 4-1 out of the middle.
Archie. Nervous along the line to Chase Jones. 8th season in the system for a relatively high draft pick. Hasn't quite got to 100 games, but it's his chance again tonight. Fogarty from the side. Dawson in the middle. Sanders is having a good few minutes for the Bulldogs. They've got their hands back on it again. Dale didn't want to fully commit. Neil Borland does all those hard things. Some go unnoticed, some don't. It's a pretty clever kick too to Pedlar. Stayed in, barely. Rochelle, he had to put the pressure on. Give away the free kick.
Did so well, Luke Pedlar, but then it's just an errant hand pass that gave Rochelle no chance.
And O'Donnell's through the 50-game threshold, well into his career now. Long up the line, big men fly. No mark taken. Sanders and Davidson nutted out. Straight into Darcy. The ricochet was hard to handle. Bramble settles it to Davidson, and the Dogs will be able to bring it forward. It's not a great kick. And veteran lead across through the set. So the switch.
This has been
set up.
They don't mind doing this, possessing it in the back half. Sometimes you hope that they'd look up forward first.
He's coming straight off lead, limping after that mark.
Yeah.
So not a great sign at all. Early in the contest for the veteran. Peetling to set the Crows up. Coming.
Go with him. It's 40
on the inside.
Marks. It's extraordinary.
Berry.
Stand. Clear out, buddy. Thanks, mate.
So how to mount some sort of threats. Scoring there, getting the calf checked. Toss it up and let them have a jump. English controlling the airwaves.
Thanks, Lockie.
Bulldogs lead cut back to 9 though. They kicked the first 3 goals of the game. Loops one up. Darcy took 2 to spoil him, but they've done it effectively.
more kick down the line than we've seen in the first couple of weeks. As we said, back half Adelaide different. They'll possess the footy, kick it around, but ball movement from one end's a bit longish down the line.
And we probably shouldn't be shocked at that.
It's adjustment.
Yeah, to change.
It looks like he's getting a bit of work on his calf. I don't reckon he's ever done a calf before.
Yeah, that's a worry.
It is. And you see he's grabbing it straight away and he comes straight off, so I'll keep an eye on it.
He might be in trouble, Rory Laird, unfortunately.
Short pass was to Dawson. Wasn't without risk. Free kick and now the driving ball. Karmas engages Fogarty. He wasn't far off taking the mark. Soligo had a look and that's all he needed. Just a quick look, a quick snap and a fine goal.
It's been a fantastic response from the Adelaide Crows. They just looked a little bit back footage early. The ball movement for the Western Bulldogs from one end to the other was really slick. But they just worked their way into it. They just got a bit of blue collar about them. It hasn't been anything too spectacular. This is just a genuine contest in a front and square. And if you can pick up a couple of goals in that manner, then the other stuff's just icing on the top. So really impressive last 10 or 15 minutes for the Crows.
I understand why he was so excited. Jake Soligo hadn't touched the ball up until that point in time. You know, you're trying to be one of the mids, one of the go-to guys for the Crows. You want to get yourself involved. Hadn't got the ball, but you finally get a touch. He's good enough to finish.
Coach said he'd be on limited minutes, so that's maximum impact.
And they may have to change that if Rory Laird.
Yeah.
He's into this centre bounce right now.
So Laird, 271st game tonight. There's the worry down on the bench for the Crows, but they're right in the contest now. It's a skirmish in the middle, settled by Fraser to Bontempelli. Another centre clearance win for the Dogs. Murray comes across the top, made the spoil. Darcy's not done with yet. Murray sticks the tackle. Good honest fight.
Would you like to look at the starting points of those two key forwards? If you win a centre clearance like that, you don't want the opposition defender coming up and jumping on top of you. So maybe a bit of separation between the two.
Kennedy feeds Bramble. What did he find inside 50? Fraser again and Bontempelli. Not quite enough on the kick. Just the tag at the end left it short. And Butts on the last line.
You see a weakness then? Did we see the Bont not want to kick on his right foot?
Terrific pressure from Jordan Dawson, who just got there to make him have to hurry the kick.
It's a good smother from O'Donnell, which gives his teammates another opportunity. Fraser will be the last to hand it back to the umpire. Dogs leads now just 3. Dawson and Richards. Quick whistle. And in addition, Kennedy's been coming across from the Blues at the start of last year. Bontempelli to Fraser. He has kicked 4 goals in a game before. There is Kennedy going for Davidson. Was able to pop up a couple of times forward last week. Now he's putting some pressure on Michael Annie.
Was free then, Kim.
So a couple of stoppages there. Once again, Jordan Dawson taking responsibility for Marcus Bontempelli, making sure he can't break away.
Andrew and Darcy. Richards wrong-sided. Worrell through to Dawson. And back again. Places it nicely for Taylor Walker.
So 2 3/4 minutes to work with here.
They've got numbers behind the ball here, the Dogs.
Crows will look to take the lead on the way to quarter time after being thoroughly jumped. Archie at his 3rd club for the Premiership Lion.
They're going to have to chip it here because they've got English behind the play and Darcy.
So if the Crows might flex slates. Dilthorpe up underneath it. Neil Bullen. Ground ball toward the 50. Rankin sweating on Butterick. Butterick did well. Off to Long. Clears the area under pressure from Fogarty. Down the line she comes. Fraser's had another touch. Karmas is hot. Released to Kennedy. Fraser provides the link-up play. And Richards can break this over the top to Norton. Got Bramble on the outside. Has a look at the big sticks. He'll steady himself. Run around. And miss.
Wow. He had, is it Riley West all on his own, waiting for a little 15-metre chip. Would have had a set shot from 30 in the corridor. Chose to go himself. You have to kick it when you do that.
Yeah, well, Bailey Williams kicked what could still be the goal of the year come the end of the season in opening round, and maybe Lockie Bramble was trying to challenge.
Maybe, but right now Riley West is calling the fire brigade.
real definitive style of footy. So the Adelaide Crows just trying to possess the footy. They've taken their fifth most amount of marks in a quarter since the start of last year. So they don't want to get the footy in the contest because the Western Bulldogs have been the dominant contested possession team in this quarter. So that's the two looks we've got going here.
And do you feel, Gary, that is a tactic they've come in with?
Yeah, I do.
The firepower of the...
Yeah, I do, Hutto. And they're a bit like this last week against Collingwood. They protected the ball by foot. But once it gets into contest, they just lower their colours a bit to the Western Bulldogs. So marking the footy in the back half's been a way to keep it out of contest.
Andrew whacked it, as you saw. He wants to win it back through Bramble, and now Richards on the curl to Davidson again. Saligo, good tackling from Norton. It's become part of the trade. Miller is in all sorts of trouble.
Well, the umpire put the whistle to the mouth and then took it away when he saw the ball spill out, but it was certainly incorrect disposal.
Ducked his head, turned him.
Yeah.
Not this one. This one.
Back at it again. Richards. Archie. You don't see the Bont on the edge of losing his cool too often either, but that was the case then.
Well, it would have been a shot for goal. Very lucky Miller on that occasion.
McAndrew cleared the way. Dawson under the kick. They close from various angles. Not bad by Dale to give the Dogs a chance, but the Crows are up to the challenge.
Murray and Butt's been very good in this first quarter for the Adelaide Crows. They've won a fair bit of footy. From an intercept mark point of view, Murray's been terrific. So he's had 7 touches. Butts has had 6, and they've been able to keep the two big guns under control.
It's the defensive pairing that they've been denied for a long time through injury. See if they can settle them in 2026. English kicks to open space. Davidson's job to make something of it, but Michael Annie's so good in the air. His judgment was unerring. Saligo makes the space for him. There's every bit of width on Adelaide Oval. So Rory Laird, the dreaded calf once you're at 32 years of age. Diagnosis to come, and it might leave the Crows short-shifted for the rest of the night.
Morris kick, Fogarty, but there's Bulldogs all around. Bramble, Karmas. High one again, searching for Norton. Spoil from Murray, Davidson. Jones releasing quickly. And the siren saves them from any further damage. So a bit of relief for the crowd and for Matthew Nix. They gave up a 3-goal handicap to get things underway, but have since made up most of the ground, and it's the Bulldogs by 4. The start of another big weekend on Fox Footy. You get a taste for it early with a bit of VFL action with the Tigers, and then the main event begins at 12:30. It's the Tigers against the Suns. Damien Hardwick coaching again against his old premiership team.
All right, folks, welcome in. Of course, we've got Friday night football. It's a big game here at Adelaide Oval. Tell you what, the Western Bulldogs, 3-4-22, they're leading the home team, Adelaide Crows, 3-0-18. Good kicking by the Crows. I tell you what, the Western Bulldogs, they came out on fire in that opening term, kicking the first 3. Adelaide steadying the tide with the next 3. Tell you what, we're in for a game. It was a hot, fierce opening quarter, a lot of run. It was fast-paced, and nothing you would expect less of these two sides. Of course, the Bulldogs in fine form, and of course, top of the leader ladders from last year, Adelaide Crows. I tell you what, this is a cracking game. It looks like a sold-out event there today. The crowd is packed, and plenty of action still to come, folks. All right, let's just, let me just transfer that there. Let's just bobo here and have a little bit of a look at some of the player stats, I should say, at the moment. Just looking at the goal scorers to see who are the goal scorers in that opening term. And of course, we've got Joel Fraser there leading the way. He's the only multiple goal scorer out on the ground. For the Western Bulldogs, he's kicked 2 goals. I'm not sure why that's not focusing in. My gosh, what's going on? It'll get back. It'll get back. There we go. 2 goals, 2 he's kicked from his 6 kicks. So he started the first quarter absolutely fantastic. 12 disposals. Absolutely blinder of an opening quarter. Oscar Baker, he's got 1 also for the Doggies. For the Adelaide Crows, of course, Tex the Taylor Walker, The big man, he's got one. All singles, of course, to the Adelaide players. Jack Saligo, he's got one. And, of course, Jordan Bartz, I believe that was his first score. In AFL, it was definitely his first goal. Well done, scoring your first goal in AFL in his career. Of course, looking at the disposal magnet out on the ground, of course, it's Joel Fraser. Who else? He's the only player in double figures out there at the moment, folks, up until quarter time. As I said, 12 disposals. He's kicked 2 goals too. He's had 6 kicks, 6 handballs. He's had a tackle and a clearance. You don't get much better than that, folks, in an opening term from an individual player. Next best for the Bulldogs, of course, Ed Richards on 9, Lockie Bramble on 9, and the Bont, Marcus Bontempelli. He's had 8 disposals, 2 kicks, 6 handballs. He's had 3 tackles, so he's doing the work with a couple of clearances. Best for Adelaide, Josh Worrell. He's had 9 disposals, nearly on the double figures, 8 kicks and a handball, 5 marks, so he's grabbing the ball well. And he's had a clearance just rolling down a little bit. Liberatore there for the Dogs. He's had 7 disposals. Jordan Dawson, let me try and get that back. I don't know why that's going out of focus. There we go. Jordan Dawson there for the Crows on 7. I think we'll take it back in just a moment. There we go. Jordan Butts on 6. Who else? We've got Tim English, the big man. Let me just try and... Maybe that just needs to be straightened a little bit. Let's see how that goes. Tim English there, the big man for the Crows. He's had 8 hit-outs for his 5 disposals. Eddie G, what's going on? Go Bulldogs, I tell you what, they came out of the gates on fire, didn't they ever? Then Adelaide certainly stemmed the tide a little bit. Riley Thilthorpe, it'll be interesting to see how he goes tonight with this fantastic Bulldogs defence. He's only had the 3 touches. He's had 2 kicks and a handball, couple of clearances, but that's about it. Isaac Ranke coming back after that big racial slur. He had about 6 or 8 weeks out in the sidelines. Missed the finals last year due to that. He came in this opening quarter a little bit slow, 3 touches, 2 kicks and a handball. It'll be interesting to see how he goes. Aaron Norton, though, he hasn't had much of the ball either, just a 3, 1 kick, 2 kicks, just a 1 behind. So that's danger signs also for the Crows. We'll see how he goes. Sam Darcy, he's a player that the Dogs really want to get firing, 3 disposals. Just a kick and a handball. He's had 3 hit-outs, so be interesting to see how he goes there. Just want to have a quick look at the team stats, see how they lined up. 94-105. Bulldogs actually in front on the disposal count overall. Inside 50s, the Bulldogs well and truly on top. 16-9 in that opening term for inside 50s for these teams. All right, let's head back down to the ground, whereas the Bulldogs by 5 points. And commentators will take us into the bounce of the ball for the second quarter. Let's head down to the action now.
Well, I guess you take what you're given, but when you look up the ground and you see what you've got to shoot at, you think at some stage some urgency in your ball movement. But it wasn't much different to what they did last week, and they're in the contest. They only went inside 59 times for the quarter. They kicked 3 goals. So, the build-up was a bit slow, but from a contested point of view, Fraser was unbelievable. I mean, that's a quarter that he's not had too many times in his career. Couldn't get away from the footy. It's an interesting contrast. The 2 big boys are the ones from an Adelaide Crows point of view they'd be through with, Murray and Butts against Norton and Darcy. They've taken honours in that first quarter.
The style of that term supports the first crack preview theory that the Dogs will let you kick it around and take the territory to get somewhere near forward and then muster their defence and deny where it really matters.
Yeah, well, that's the way it played out. Let's see what the second quarter brings.
What a sight Adelaide Oval is for any sporting event. Huge crowd in to see the Crows and their home opener. English and Kennedy combined the Dogs with another centre clearance. Baker brought it to ground. Rochelle swooping through. West did enough. Miller, ball in dispute momentarily. Jones did okay. Miller and Worrell had kept feeding it backwards into more and more trouble. And Laird, who starts the term in the clutches of Darcy.
Centre-bounce a problem again. 6-1 now.
It's Darcy to do the ruck work down in the forward line. Kennedy trying to create a source once and twice. Darcy for Bontempelli. Good feed up to Liberatore, who squeezed it out, but not quite far enough. And don't they love big butts tonight?
Hard to follow that as Jones Kicks towards the line, and it's coming back towards Darcy. And
thought he had a good piece of it, then had his arm ripped off it.
If there's any doubt about that, Chase Jones had given up. He had no chance, so he thought, I'll grab an arm and see if I get away with it, and he did.
McAndrew is getting his hands on the foot. He decides he can kick it as well. He might learn a lesson there with that one.
Jordan Butts has taken 5 intercept marks in a quarter and a bit, playing on one of the most dangerous forwards that we think's in the competition.
Garrett was right then.
Play on.
Yep.
Deep goes the kick again. Murray looks to spoil. He's crashed into his own teammate. Spillage was there for the taking. Jones has handled initially Bontempelli and then Richards. Both have moments that they've missed. Williams, we know we can do this, although not every time.
I think the Crows knew he was going to do it too, Hunter. They were swarming all over him.
Well tracked by Rochelle and then coming. Karmas and Walker. Bit of a standoff there. Karmas has fished Rochelle where he should have been at the front of the pack. But the last disposal will get him there. Lassu, free kick going the way of the Dogs.
Was just thinking through the best of the options. Liberatore's hot. Rankin got it out of his grasp. Liberatore towed it too and over the line. Protected by the player over.
Isaac, start out. No, here now. Stand. We're in the protected area.
Told exactly where they should be.
Play on.
Rankin, so it is this stodgy mode at the moment. And it's not his best.
It is. Kick back over the mark. Kick to a contest. Hasn't opened up at all, really.
Butterick. Dodging both ways. Down the line and again.
Six intercept marks. Butts v Darcy.
Just almost bullying him on that occasion.
Yeah, he's got to be careful, Sam Darcy. He's getting underneath the ball too quickly and just allowing Butts to work him under it.
What a scoop from Rankin, and the kick has penetration too much as it turned out for Fogarty. And then a great tackle on Phil Thorpe. He just ekes out a handball, but it's all Bulldogs. Selwood working it through Butterick and across to Liberatore. Had to reach further than he would have liked. Back into the middle of the Adelaide Oval. Busy and important intersection. Won by the Crows. Jones to Dawson. Everyone can push a little deeper because of the length that the captain can put on the kick. And Darcy Fogarty takes the mark. Well within his range. Well played, the skipper.
And really good pressure from the Crows as the Bulldogs tried to set up a hand pass chain coming out of defence. It was Tom Liberatore who just had to throw it on the boot. He was under real heat, and that creates the turnover. And Jordan Dawson mops it up with a beautiful kick inside 50.
Didn't have a great round one, only 8 disposals, but he did kick a couple of important goals, and that's what he has to do here. It is his stock and trade. That didn't look great up from the moment it left the boot.
No, he ran right out there too. He normally runs pretty straight, but he arced all the way out to the right, and that's where he kicked the ball.
Down by 3 points, the Crows. Selwood to mark the kick in and provide some fluency for the Dogs. Darcy's got the one-on-one, brought it to ground. Sanders is a little behind in the chase. Cook gives some ground and Laird strapped up and continuing on.
It's a good effort to be out there, Rory Laird. It looked dodgy, but he's obviously moving okay.
Without the sub, I suspect you have to serve for as long as you physically can. Early in the game, at least. Morrell's been prolific early.
So again, this mark game in the back half for the Adelaide Crows. The Bulldogs back off a bit. They back up to centre half forward and set up.
Dawson given the hurry up.
Just see them lined up across half forward. Now they go to the mark. They try and squeeze up here or not?
Murray searching for the targeting keys. No quick release, but he does advance the cause to Laird. Has the hand pass to Peatling. That's what he chooses. Peatling, eyes towards the 50. Give the big targets a look. Too strong for Thilthorpe. Well dealt with by O'Donnell. The lateral spoil all the way over.
Yeah, and James O'Donnell's doing a good job at the other end. We've spoken about Butts and Murray against Norton and Darcy, and James O'Donnell and Karmas, who are sharing the loads against Thilthorpe and Walker, have done well.
Gorgeous night sky. framing this important round 2 clash for the Bulldogs and the Crows. Dale coughed it up. Keys saw off Kennedy. Fashioned a kick, but Butterick in the right place to repel. Taking the mark. Bulldogs. First 3 goals of the night haven't had it since. Precarious kick across. Neil Bullen was almost onto it. Miller will give Neil Bullen an opportunity. He's always keen to share it. Walker, his momentum going the wrong way for most, but he's always had a glorious left foot and now enables Thilthorpe to tuck the mark at the top of the square. Brilliantly played by the veteran. And now Ronnie Thilthorpe.
It's only a matter of time, wasn't it? Once they get it there eventually.
Yeah, a lot of time. So Riley Thilthorpe, 6 goals last time. Last week he kicked 3-1. Footy's back at the Adelaide Oval. The Crows were jumped, but now everything's okay in the world. The Crows lead by 3, and Riley Thilthorpe has hit the scoreboard.
That'll gladden the heart of an absent friend of ours, a big key forward who would have loved nothing more than to be here tonight and see them at both ends. Jonathan Brown, a big shout out to you, Brownie, and the family after a pretty challenging week.
100% we're thinking of him. He'll be propped up there on the couch watching the big forwards go about it. We love you, mate. And Big Riley just flexing a bit of muscle, so the big dogs just hadn't had their say up until now. But they were going to get a chance at some stage, and I think the defender's done a really good job. He's just a formidable beast of an opponent.
He is, and what he did there is what we haven't seen Sam Darcy do at the other end. Run and jump at the footy. Be on the move and be heading towards the footy, not getting caught underneath it, where then your sides can get eliminated by those players just buffeting you underneath the ball.
He's on Butterick there too, guys. Had a mismatch.
Tex and Thilthorpe with goals, nothing for Darcy and Norton thus far. Crows just getting it forward one way or another. McAndrew, that's a pretty creative hand pass. Dawson almost made it good. It was fumbled by Pedler at the wrong moments. And the Dogs survived to bring it out. O'Donnell's got Richards well set. He takes off into the open space up ahead. Can bounce as far as he likes down the wing. Eds has a good long look. Sets it up deep. They need West to come over the top. As the flying target, Hines and West were the 2 that he was kicking it to, so not quite the targets that he would have imagined as he was in full flow down the wing.
It was great ball use coming out, O'Donnell, to get it into space. 6 intercept marks, the most ever taken in a half by an Adelaide Crows player. 10 is the record for intercepts as we look at Rory Laird continue to get some work.
Still it goes on. Pretty deep in attack for the Bulldogs. English just patting it down. Bontempelli found a man. Butterick lofts it up. Croft will be a hope. He's got to fly, but English casting the role of a rover. Never going to be easy. Hines the tackler on Cook. Still hasn't happened for the Bulldogs' key forwards. Bulldogs' ruck was right in front of you. Right in front of you. Shelley up and down, not paid for Peatling, who knew it, so probably not a bad result in the end, deep in defence.
He actually did well, Peatling, because he couldn't just punch it out of bounds either. It would have been deliberate. It's never going to be a mark.
There's a lot that has to go through your mind.
Correct. You've got to think. You're always going to be thinking.
And is that easy for footballers, Jason, or not?
Some easier than others, Anthony.
Very good answer. McAndrew against English, more than holding his own, and the taps are concerned. Liberatore desperately to try and get it to Bontempelli. Instead, it's Rochelle through the middle. They've got a guard, and that is Bailey Williams. So back they go again. Got to find some energy to fly for the footy. Or, again, if you're 209 centimetres, you might be the rover. He's kicked another one, has he? Fraser's kicked the third. Astonishing. The Bulldogs needed it.
Well, it made something out of nothing, Hutto. That's why the surprise was. It looked like it was going to go out of bounds, but Tim English was good enough to get there. And then Bontempelli just, I don't know if he mesmerised his opponent or not, but found his way through. So you'll just see here that
the panic kick out of defence, Gaz, from Rochelle.
Yeah, he backed off really well there, got back in, and then you see English make really good ground to this footy. I think most people thought it might have gone out. And then Bontempelli waltzes through here. Nice hands. Fraser kicks a goal. Just got something from nothing that they needed, I reckon. Crows had a really good period, kicked 4 in a row, so they just had to find a way, and it's fat man Fraser again.
The Harvey Norman replay. He has dominated a Friday night against Sydney last year, where he really came of age. The Dogs needed him that night, and he's the number one avenue to goal tonight. 3-2. They haven't reached the halfway mark of the second term. English clean tap, but Dawson's onto it. Uses Rankin. He'd love a little dash here. Set for Tex. O'Donnell over the top. Karmas supports at the back. Williams is hot. Karmas into hand. Bunnerig's been a great source of rebound. That's what they bought him for. Kennedy, Sanders, English. Very short. Fraser's in everything. Dale, usually the chief constructor. Off to Lobb, who pumps it out wide. That should work. Well-weighted ball for Jakes. Does he roll and go? Jakes like the look of English. It was just at half-back a moment ago.
He's moving around, English. He had McAndrew trailing him behind him, set up that last goal by about 3 metres.
And set him up to the top of the square. Jump after that, and Croft does the third wheel for the Dogs.
This is what we haven't seen that we expected. In fact, they've hardly marked the ball at all through the course of the night, the Western Bulldogs. Matthew Croft, he's down, looking on, very proud. And he's a talent, this kid, Jace. He's going to get the third defender most weeks if he continues to develop. And he's going to be a handful.
They breed them well at the Dogs. And Jordan Croft with the first of the majors from the key forwards. Much to Dad's delight. Dogs extend the lead tonight.
Hey, again, it's the Dogs putting pressure on the Crows. I love the transition. So they just made it up. It was an ad hoc sort of expression of possession coming out of defence. It was a little handball chain. There was a half kick in the middle of it, and then a long kick out wide. And then when they did hit the target inside 50, I think the Crows went to sleep. Tim Leaks, they think, he'll go back and have the long shot for goal. What he does do is he looks at the tall target he's got with no key defender on him, and he says, well, if I can get my 200-centimetre forward a run and jump at the footy that Croft had there, he's probably going to mark the ball, and he did.
Yeah, it's Butts' first mistake for the night.
Yeah, he didn't too far away.
He just looked at him and said, I'll maintain 15 metres in front, and didn't get back on him, and he's good enough. He'll embarrass you, this kid, if you give him a chance.
And Worrell was yelling at him, at Butts as well, to get back and man up.
Hillthorpe in the ruck, hands it off to Berry. Straight line stuff out of the middle to full forward Fogarty, but in the end it was Karmas, the long arm of Buku Karmas, that saved the day for the Dogs.
He'd streamed 20 metres off his opponent, Karmas. He's playing a game, covering some territory, picking up talls and smalls.
Look at the numbers around this ball up, this boundary throw in here. Denying space here.
Hillthorpe up against Darcy. He made the clean tap. You can see it almost gets outside 50. In fact, it does. West on the up. That's been kind to him. To Jakes and then Richards. Baker protected the drop of the ball well, out muscling Jones.
They're winning some good contested balls, some good 50-50 balls, the Bulldogs.
Kicked the last couple of goals and lead by 9 points. Oscar Baker. Kick didn't reach Bontempelli, and there's another bearded superstar, Hillthorpe, that was able to step in and across to Ben Keys as they worked their way across half-back to Butts.
He's going to have another kick here. That's 9 kicks for the Knights. To half-forward, Karmas, subtle enough on Pedler. Pedler with a chance to set the Crows in deep. Once have flooded their numbers back. Pedler, maximum distance. Hillthorpe's the target. Almost. It slipped through his fingers.
That was a good kick. It was where he wanted it, to hold the player underneath the footy, ball come over the top. He'd love his time again. That's one he'd normally snaffle.
It was the first possession for Luke Pedler. Sanders has the footy for the Bulldogs.
This is what they haven't done, the Dogs, is just build it up by foot, looking for marks.
Well, Bontempelli feels like he has the luxury of time for a bounce, and he did. There's good punch in the kick down to Hines. Impressive youngster, finding his way in his second season. They'll be outnumbered here, the Bulldogs, and that will suit the Crows and Murray.
You just wonder what some players see at times. Cooper Hines, he just needed a little bit of better vision.
Just enough on it, lads, having another go, despite being obviously hobbled. Rankin now.
There are 48 uncontested marks in the back half, Jared. So you ask whether this is tactical, Hutto did, and there's no question about that. This is just patient build-up, maintain possession, keep it out of the contest.
So that not quite at halfway, Pedler.
The Bulldogs seem happy to allow it to happen too, Gaz. And I guess while you're in front, you can sit there and say, well, it's not hurting us.
It's really obvious that they retreat back off the mark, almost to 2/3 of the ground.
Yep.
Worrell with the incisive kick, so that's the one that could open things up. Butts is there again. He wheels and goes and gives them a look deep. Thilthorpe's a long way back in the pack. Still was prominent at the moment of arrival. Sanders, Jakes over his head. Liberatore had to be good. Butterick dumped off it. Liberatore put his head in the hole. When does he not? Rankin threatens, trying to create. Crowd thought he was just impeded in his efforts. Umpire didn't agree.
Lots of instructions being issued. Keys has gone back to the goal square with Archie. Instead, Liberatore takes just a small amount of ground. And is Laird back out there again. Neil Bullen edges it inside 50. Bulldogs defenders have to be careful. Keys buzzing around, desperate to get it to Rankin. They were ready. Tackle from Jakes, did it well. Still alive though with Butterick force feeding it to Liberatore. And this is Selwood coming away. Bangs it up to half-back and beyond. Worrell. Baker. The collector's outstanding, and we know that Davidson can run. And he's got the opportunity to run. 3 bounces. And it was never close to being on time.
It was cooked. I love the effort there of Michael Angdo. So he had Joel Frazier, who was running inside 50 looking for a kick. And he said, I'd rather the bloke that's had 3 bounces, kick from 45 on the run, than chip it to my man to have the set shot. Very
Close
smart.
under enormous pressure here. Murray's done over. Surely that was holding the ball. Miller goes backward. Worrell, Cook. They might get out of it, and they do to Soligo. Although Baker committed himself absolutely. Bramble inside, and it'll work. Williams have got away from him at the first. Clutched it at the second.
They're non-free kicks everywhere, Jared. They're not being paid. They put the whistle away in the old-fashioned sense. And they turned this over in their front half, so he had plenty of opportunity there, so that's a free kick. And then, he didn't mark that, didn't hold that.
It's almost an attitude from the umpires that if the ball comes out, they just like it to keep going.
Bailey Williams has kicked the goal of the year contender and 5 behinds to go with that this season. He's got the set shot, and it was through off the boots. The Dogs have strung 3 together and reasserted a level of scoreboard dominance.
It's a sneaky 3 in a row, too. Like they've just given up 4 in a row to the Adelaide Crows, so they're coming in lots. They kick the first 3, the Crows the next 4. And this is a Coles goal, and there's been plenty of parts of this Coles goal as well. Went up and down a few aisles. And the nice finish from Williams, who almost dropped it in the end as well. So this is as impressive as Adelaide were to kick 4 in a row and wrest control back their way. It just worked. It hasn't been spectacular. They've worked their way back to a 3 consecutive goal period of play, and they now got a handy lead.
They look good, the Bulldogs. I'm not sure if Jake Sligo was playing for a 50 or something, but that's an easy chest mark. He should have just swallowed up, and he allowed the Bulldogs player to come in and knock it out of his hands.
And one of the subtle adjustments for the Bulldogs this year. More forward time for Bailey Williams, and they're out of the middle again. It's a trio of goals. Michael Addy makes the play. And then a regrettable kick. A little push in the back. Instead of being a Bulldogs ball, it'll be an Adelaide downfielder to Fogarty. Scars the 50. Settles on the longest target available. And that will... I think McAndrew came up to join Tex Walker in the end. Might put a fist into it. So a game of runs at the moment. 3 for the Dogs, then 3 for the Crows. Actually 4 for the Crows.
No shootout, Hutto.
Yeah.
4 goals to 6.
Oh, Adelaide underneath the tap.
Adelaide, ruck free kick.
It's a ruck free kick, so they didn't play the advantage, which maybe wasn't clear enough for them. And McAndrew.
I don't mind that not paying the advantage because you don't know who's going to get the free kick. You don't know which way it's going.
Well, there was only Adelaide players underneath. Anyway, Big McAndrew, his second game as a Crow, squares it up. Pedler flew at the front. Sanders' hands were quickest. Williams back to calmness, a little uneasy back in the goal square. Couldn't have kicked it much higher. Baker and Norton are underneath it, so there's headbands everywhere. Rochelle, and his kick is smothered, and Baker, who flamboyantly kicked the first goal of the night, but that's back to Oscar Baker we're more familiar with, doing the hard things, all the running along the wing. And Luke Beveridge watches on, his team up by 15 points.
3 players on the ground with 14 possessions already. It's Worrell for Adelaide, Liberatore and Fraser, who also has the 3 goals for the Bulldogs.
Andrew worked his way to the front. Sligo, Rochelle, Berry, trying to get some sort of kick away. It was only some sort of kick. English got it off the hands of McAndrew. Kennedy's hops. We'll observe the instructions of the Crows were busy at the stoppage, but nothing came from it. Down the cathedral end, it's a little sandy down there. That's where the Ed Sheeran stage was. You can see from time to time the sand gets kicked up as the players plant. Keys beat Sanders to it, boundary side. Berry got out of the tackle in Liberatore. Not many do. He was over the boundary when he did.
Just keep building pressure, the Crows. They've given up 3 goals, so give their defence a bit of a spell. They've set up well behind the footy. Miller are the deepest free.
Lob rucking against McAndrew this time. And the tall Crow dictating terms. Rochelle couldn't get out, and the umpire said, time's up.
They've tackled well when they've had the opportunities, the Bulldogs. There's been a few in their defensive 50 that have saved shots for goal.
The tackle count is 35-17. It's the Bulldogs' favour. Williams in full flow. And Darcy judges that one better.
They haven't got anything long, or they've got something wide.
Well, hard running from Bramble and able to have that wide option, but excellent from Archie. Made the spoil. Might just win it back for the Crows. Pedler guiding for Fogarty up to meet it. Cupboard is pretty much bare ahead, so he swings it back to the inside to Peatling. Now he's got relatively even numbers, and that is it would have been an acrobatic catch in the gully like from Pedler, but instead it's off hands and over the line.
Reinforcements come from the bench. Dogs by 15, latter stages now of the opening half. Not quite what we imagined it was going to be. It's hard fought. Fraser's been in everything right from the outset. Kennedy in English tosses it forward. West had to wait a long time underneath. Knocked it to the back. Crows have got their numbers there though. Cumming, Butts, Rochelle. Trying to set up. Rankin's out in front of the interchange gates. Goes a bit shorter than that. Jones, Rochelle. And they have been more than willing to kick it backwards throughout the night. Lead again.
So they have, and that's an extraordinary number, but they've kicked 4 goals in a half, essentially.
Phil Thorpe presents as the long target. English the spoil. Ground ball to be won. West just ran enough interference. Kennedy, Richards, English. He can give the forwards a look. He liked the look of Croft again. Norton arrives late. Regained his footing, but not the footing. Murray, good duel. Good win. Laird, Butts with his first hand pass. Cook, kick from Jones. That's high risk. Dogs have their numbers set. Liberatore feeds Bramble. Looked up. Oh, there's loose dogs everywhere. Fraser gives it to Baker, and he'll stroll in. Divert. Oh, God. Long way round the mountain. Back through it goes. That's 4 in a row and a 21-point lead.
So this is the question that Matthew Nicks is going to ask himself and his coaches and everyone else at half-time. We keep playing this way conservative out of the back half. What we do is we give them a chance to turn the footy over. And they have kicked all 7 goals from turnover tonight, the Western Bulldogs. So at some stage they say, we're going to go forward.
Yep.
We're going to go forward more aggressively here. I know we can live in our back half, but now we're staring down the barrel of a 21-point defeat. We've kicked 4 goals and a half.
Extraordinary kick from Chase Jones, though, to decide that coming in towards the corridor to a 1-on-3, I don't know what was going through his head. That set it up, and while Oscar Baker was strolling in for goal, there were 4 pros back on the back flank where the ball had come from, hands on knees, just watching it all unfold.
So he kicked the first goal of the night, and so far he's kicked the last goal of the first half. Oscar Baker and the Dogs re-established real strong hold on this game. Fraser been in the thick of it. Got a deep English not far away. Richards thought he could get through. He was wrong. We got a handball away, the umpire said. Sanders has a crack. Laird testing those calves. And in the end, even though he's the only man there, he's forced to spoil it. And no wonder Matthew Nix is scratching his head.
I think it's a really interesting half-time coming up.
They've got to change it.
You've got to see what's going to change in this second half, because their uncontested marking game and defensive half is got them 59 marks in a half of footy in the back half alone.
Bulldogs' first 3 and the last 4 of this game. Isaac Cumming has his way, gets clear of Bontempelli, and Taylor Walker's up the ground a long way to give them an avenue out of defence.
And this is where it stops, because you have got your numbers back, and all of a sudden Thilthorpe's 2-on-1 down the line.
Fogarty had a fly, kept out of his clutches. Archie over the boundary.
We've still got Karma sitting deep. There's a loose defender, so they're well protected behind the footy, the Bulldogs. They're going to have to kick the ball particularly well, Adelaide, or maybe run and carry a little bit to try and break things up.
Ruck stroll up to the wing. Rankin does his work underneath, but coughed it up to Bontempelli. Fraser gives the Dogs a deep look. It favoured butts through the air. Darcy did well. West kept his footing. Jones trying to redeem himself. Got it off to Butts. Miller lends a hand. The Dogs survive. The Crows survive the scrape. Where to, though? Dawson.
It's not an they don't take the aggressive line, do they? They just haven't taken an aggressive line to goal all night.
Miller ran on, but manned by the time he got it.
Yeah, the speed of ball numbers, Gaz, and the direction will be interesting, won't they?
Yeah, and you wonder whether these forwards are going, okay, we want a quicker look at this ahead of the footy.
Well, they might need to introduce some handball to get that done, Gaz, not just kick.
Cook gives it a thump, and Thilthorpe is there.
Well, this is the reason, isn't it? It's a compelling reason. It's 6'6" of bearded muscle of reason to get it there and get it quick. And both ends have defended really well against, we talked all week about these forward lines and how dangerous they are. Well, both ends have held sway. And I reckon this bloke wouldn't mind seeing some quicker footy.
He was looking at options after he marked it. I was really pleased to see Josh Rochelle go and say, hey, mate, pull up. We desperately need this. You've got to go back and kick it for us.
And everyone in the house knows it. Riley Thilthorpe doing what good leaders do. Difficult goal, mate, look easy. Put that in the mix. 15 points is the margin, and a bit of hope that goes with it.
Yeah, so there may or may not be another score. I think they'd be delighted with the fact they had to get one back before half time. But he does still loom as their biggest challenge for the Western Bulldogs, I think. For the Western Bulldogs. So to see what Adelaide do at half-time will be really interesting. It's got an imposing presence.
It's a good kick by Cook, wasn't it? There's that extra metre or so.
Beautiful set shot, 45 metres out on a pretty tight angle. 8 possessions now for Riley Thilthorpe. He's had 4 marks, 2 of them contested. He's kicked 2 straight. They need him to have a big presence in the second half.
7 goals to 5 heading toward half-time. It was 16 goals to 15 when they met late last season. Thilthorpe was a major part of that. McAndrew got up very high over English. And the skipper's going to give the Crows a chance through Cumming. And there he is again, Thilthorpe. Well judged by Sill, but Neil Bullen's so good under the pressure. Cook showed him the footy, looked to create. Now Rankin, he's trying to cast something. Making it up on the fly, and he's done ever so well. Although the siren has beaten the play, I fancy. It's been waved away. Rochelle doesn't get to take his shots. Dogs take a 15-point lead to half-time, having led by 4 at the first change.
It's been an impressive first half from the Western Bulldogs. Love what they've done.
I think Ruse found Rory Laird downstairs.
Laddie, what's going on with that calf?
Nah, just a bit of carry on by me, just a bit sore, but try to push it out and keep going the rest of the game.
Is it your plan to kick it around in the back line as a team, or is that just what they're giving you?
No, it's what they're giving us at the moment. They're giving us, so we've got to sort of work out how to get it forward a bit more. I think once we get it in filthy and the Texans look a bit more dangerous, so they're giving us that. We'll have to sort of change a few things at half.
They've been pretty tough and clean, haven't they, so far?
Yeah, it's why they're playing so well at the moment. I think the contest weight needs to lift up as well.
Oh, good luck in the second half.
Thanks, mate.
All right, a lot to look forward to, a lot to analyse and pour over during the half-time break. It's the Western Bulldogs by 15. There'll be no shortage of analysis. All the coaches, all the conversation. It's been a great start to the AFL 360 season. Adam Kingsley and Josh Carr. Second up, I wonder what Port Adelaide are going to provide. And Tuesday night, Players' Night, there's none bigger than Dacor Syndrome.
You're watching Friday Night Footy on Fox. Brought to you by Industry Super Funds.
All right, there we go. Half time. The Dogs still doing it well. I'll tell you what, that mark to Rochelle, they said it was after the siren, but I'll tell you what, to the naked eye, it looked like milliseconds before the siren went to end the second quarter. That will be very interesting to have a little bit of a sneak peek, second look at that. But to my eye, it looked like he actually marked a ball, but the umpire said, no. There we go. Western Bulldogs, though, doing it well. They had control. Adelaide, well, they could manage 2 goals, 2 in that second term to the Bulldogs. 4 goals, 1. 7-5-47. The Bullies, the Crows, 5-2-32. That's 15-point is the margin to the Western Bulldogs here at Adelaide Oval. We've still got a cracking game here, Western Bulldogs. Well, I give both the opening and the second quarter points to the Bulldogs. They do look a little bit better, the team. They certainly do look a little bit more dangerous, a little bit more open space going forward. There was a couple of 3-on-1s they were kicking to. They can rectify that. They'll be certainly dangerous. But the Bulldogs' defence is really holding well. Keeping Thilthorpe low and the rest of the guys low. I tell you what, they're doing a good job, the Bulldogs. So if they can continue this way, they can certainly take this game out. Adelaide Crows, though, they haven't really had any part of this game on their terms, playing their way. So still got that to look forward to. If the Crows can get the game back on their terms, as we see with the Worm folks, it's not goal for goal. This is going in momentum swings. As you can see, the opening quarter, the Bulldogs kicked the first 3. Then the Crows kicked the next 4. And then the Bulldogs kicked the next 4. And, of course, Adelaide finished off the last goal of that quarter. So it'll be interesting to see how this second half unfolds. Is it going to keep going with the momentum swings, or will it go goal for goal? I'll tell you what, she's going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game, this one. You can just feel it, folks, in the air. It's going to be a cracking second half of football between these two great sides. All right, just while the commentators are on their break, let's just have a look at the goal scorers so far. Joel Frazier, 3 goals, 2 now he's kicked from his 18 disposals, 9 kicks, 9 handballs. He's having a cracking game. Oscar Baker, well, he had a bit of a dancing move to one of his goals. He's kicked 2 for the Bulldogs. Bailey Williams, Jordan Croft, singles for the Doggies. For the Adelaide Crows, the only mouldable, and that's Riley Thilthorpe, the bearded burbler. He's got 2 straight. Well done. Stood up strong on a 45-degree angle, about 30 metres out. Slotted it straight through the sticks, just what the Crows needed. 2 goals to him, 1 for Tex, 1 to Saligo, and 1 to Jordan Bartz. We'll come back and we'll have a look at the disposal getters in a moment. Let's just head back to the commentators for a bit of analysis on the opening half.
At half time, it is the Western Bulldogs that are holding on to a 15-point lead, Tom Hawkins. And Geordie Lewis, how have you seen it, boys? Interesting game.
It sure is, Gaz. It's a tale of a side that wants to mark them footy and has taken a lot of uncontested marks to a side that just wants to apply pressure. So, interesting game. Some star players that we probably have unearthed that weren't mentioned too much before the game, but certainly interesting.
I think sometimes you go into half-time not knowing what the pattern of the game is. I think both sides are really clear, and I'd be surprised if certainly Adelaide came out and played the same way, because it just doesn't seem like it's working at the moment.
Well, let's unpack some of the numbers. First of all, for Harvey's performance highlights point of view, it was Joel Frazier. I think this is what you're alluding to, Big Tommy. We talked about some of the superstars of the game. Well, that first quarter for Frazier, they got their first 2 goals from intercept possessions inside the forward half, which is a tick, and he's kicked 3.5.
Yeah, it was super, and gave one off to Oscar Baker late too. So I've just loved his impact forward of the footy. So he's had 85% of his disposals in the forward half. So it just goes to show he's been the one that's been damaging up in that forward line. We talked about Darcy and Norton and how that pairing was going to be. Instead it was Frazier and Croft, but he was outstanding.
It's a midfielders getting forward. You talk about Norton, Darcy, they haven't hit the scoreboard yet, but Frazier, I mean, he came alive last year, but you see those numbers, they were record numbers. Certainly in the first quarter, he was involved in applying pressure, getting on the end of it, setting up his teammates, all that type of stuff. So really big half.
Couldn't get away from it. Then one of those games where the ball just followed him.
Even the clever sort of, when the Adelaide player went to ground, he went to ground, scored himself another shot at goal. So he's been terrific.
So they brought good pressure at various stages. There's not a high pressure game from the Adelaide Crows because they're kicking the ball around in the back half and marking it, but there's some good heat from the Dogs.
Yes, especially the start of the game. I think what you want to look out from the coach's box is see your side applying pressure. And the thing that stood out to me was the way the Bulldogs came forward. We know that they like to play an assertive defence in front of the Adelaide forwards. We see here Oscar Baker just applying pressure. And I think that was fed a little bit by the way that the Adelaide Football Club used the ball by hands. They tended to handball back a lot, which then invited the Dogs to come forward and apply pressure. So the first three scores, first 2 goals came from this type of pressure, which would have pleased Luke Beveridge and the coaching staff.
It's also been in the back half, Geordie. Karmas has been a player been really and driven that behind that ball, that come forward method, which is clearly something that they've focused on going into the game.
No, I think both defences would be really happy with the way that they've played, particularly against those big guns. But the pattern of footy, which was we're alerted to with the first crack boys through the week, this back half game the Adelaide Crows want to play, chip it around, and the back half game that the Western Bulldogs will let you play, Geordie. Now they go in at half time, they've kicked 5 goals in a half. They've got an imposing forward that they should be shooting at, yet they've played the ball in their back half for most of the game.
So this is an interesting stat for me in terms of handball receives. We spoke about them pre-game. Western Bulldogs 26 marks, 89 handball receives. Adelaide 78 marks, 42 handball receives. So the script is really flipped. So it's okay to control the ball in your back half, but you must take it forward and you must use that pocket of space in behind the man on the mark to generate run and get the ball inside your forward 50. A little bit more unpredictable than what they're doing.
Was there enough urgency, do you think?
No, I don't think there was.
As the game wore on, it looked to me that they were almost content to sit in the back.
I think it's certainly at times when the game is hot, you want to go into control. It seemed like they went into control for the whole quarter. I think they've got different gears to go to, and I'd like them to play a little bit faster at times. Certainly.
I think their forwards are sitting too far ahead of the ball too at times. So the particularly Fogarty, Walker, Thilthorpe, when they're there, I think they're way too deep. They're sort of 60 and 70 metres away from the ball, which is a big cavity of space that you've got to then work through to actually get to your last line. So hard to defend behind that. But they've only taken 4 inside 50 marks. So that, for me, is a telling sign for such a dangerous forward line.
So counter to what we're seeing in other games early in this piece. Jordan Butts, he had 6 intercept marks inside a quarter of 5 minutes. 10's the record, and he's playing on Sam Darcy. He's had a fantastic night.
Yeah, he has. He is their last line of defence, and he's positioning himself. So often at stoppage, he finds himself free. But again, he goes forward and kicks his first goal of his AFL career, but certainly a player that doesn't generally get high possession, but he's really controlling them. So if it wasn't for him and Murray, his other partner in crime, who's taken 5 intercept mark, these two have been really stable behind the ball, but an outstanding, arguably his best half of football, certainly best quarter of his career.
Half a footy for the Western Bulldogs. No goals to Darcy, no goals to Norton. So Murray and Bucks have been outstanding, and he might have a record. He might be done like the intercept marking king at the end of this, with 6 already in this first half, 10 being the record. Let's go to David Cedar in the newsroom. It's Rory Laird. He's been a resilient character. What can you tell us? Is it a calf?
Yeah, it looks like it at the moment, Gaz, but as he said to Mark Rasciuto just a short time ago, he's going to soldier on and try and get through the game. So they ran him through a fitness test at quarter time. He passed that. They put him back out there, and as I said, 7 touches. You see him here sliding for a mark, looks to injure the calf there, comes off the ground, gets a fair bit of work done on the calf, comes back on again, and appears to be going okay in the second quarter. I think this is one that we're going to have to certainly watch and wait over the next week or so to see how he recovers. Josh Worrell also spent a fair bit of time on the bench, had his calves worked on, but the club says there was a rotation issue. He's fine. He'll be playing in the second half. So no injury concerns there. Now, there were some concerns. It looked to be some concerns over the sandiness of the pitch there at Adelaide Oval. So there was an Ed Sheeran concert a couple of weeks ago where a bunch of turf work has been done since then to make sure it's in good shape for obviously Adelaide Oval's first AFL game of the season. We saw what happened last year with the SCG and an Andre Bocelli concert that had a fair bit of ramifications in the months ahead. And after that, the Dogs, one of the sides involved in that as well. But hopefully nothing too major. But again, something we'll have to monitor over the coming weeks to see how that part of the turf, the northern end of the ground, is shaping up in AFL games. And also Nick Watson last night involved in a pretty unsavoury incident. So a Coke bottle thrown at him after the match. You see here that kick was the sealer after the siren to ice the game, and then a Coke bottle thrown at him. Obviously he was giving a bit to some of the Sydney fans in the crowd, and one of them appeared to respond by throwing a Coke bottle. So the AFL says today it's working with the MCG to investigate the matter along with Victoria Police. So the alleged offender was not from the Swans cheer squad. His identity is currently unknown. Victoria Police are now investigating the matter with assistance from the MCG. They'll continue to provide updates, and they say throwing objects at players is never acceptable. If caught, you will lose the privilege of being able to attend the footy. So a fair bit happening at the moment. All eyes though on the second half, Gaz.
Nice, good on you. Thanks very much, Dave. What do we expect in the second half, boys?
I think a more aggressive Adelaide, certainly. I think under Matty Nicks, what we've known of this side is to certainly move the ball a bit quicker and a little bit more aggression through the corridor at the right times, no doubt.
Yeah, and Dogs, I think they just keep on doing what they've been doing, try and play the game in their forward half and keep getting the ball to their big men.
Yeah, 7 goals to 5. Didn't think that'd be the case at half-time. We'll go to a break. Don't forget Easter Sunday main event, Zoo versus Nurja. Big multi-million-dollar fights ahead if Zoo can get over the top. Dennis Nurja.
Same more.
All right, there we go. They'll be back with us not too far away, folks. I just want to welcome in Albert. How you going, Squire? Hattie G in the house. And David was also there. I think they're all going for Adelaide. A few going for the Doggies. There we go. What's the live poll say? The Western Bulldogs, 54%. There we go. We're on track at the moment there, folks. All right, let's just head back over. Just before we go any further, I just want to let you know the winners so far in this round. Of course, last night it was a well-deserved look. It was a good game last night, but Hawthorn got the chocolates over the Sydney Swans at the MCG, 99-82. That was Thursday night football. Of course, the rest of the football coming up over the weekend. Tomorrow, it all kicks off with Richmond taking on the Gold Coast Suns at the MCG, followed by the Giants taking on the Saints at Engie Stadium. Freo taking on Melbourne. That should be a cracking game over there in Optus Stadium in Perth. Sunday we've got 2 games, Port Adelaide and Essendon at Adelaide Oval. And, of course, West Coast North Melbourne to round out round 2. As I said, Brisbane, Collingwood, Carlton and Geelong all have the byes this week. Well, let's go back to the stats. Let's have a look at the ball magnets. Joel Frazier continues to lead the way from his quarter time 12 disposals. He's up to 18. He's had 6 in the second term. 9 kicks, 9 handballs. He's had 1 mark, a tackle, 2 clearances, 3 goals, 2. Was he going to be in the running for the 3 Brownlow votes? Well, surely you would put him up and amongst it up until half time. Next best, Ed Richards, Tom Liberatore, Matty Kennedy, all on 15 there for the Doggies. For the Crows, though, Chase Jones, Josh Worrell, 15 and 14. Of course, Chancey Jones is at 5 kicks, 10 handballs, 3 marks. He's the leading disposal getter there for the Adelaide Crows. Out on the ground up until half time. Jordan Dawson with 14. Rory Laird, 13. As I said, though, he was talking about a calf, so we'll keep an eye on him. Tim English, one of the big men there for the Bulldogs. He's had 13 touches. Going not too bad out there this evening. 7 kicks, 6 handballs. He's had a couple of marks. 14 hit-outs, 3 clearances. He's looking reasonably good out there at the moment. The Bont, well, the Bontempelli, he's still got a big second half left in him. He's just had the 13 touches, 3 kicks, 10 handballs at the moment, 3 clearances, 4 tackles. So still doing his work rate reasonably well there. Nick Murray there for the Crows on 12. Miller on 11. Ranky, he's up to 10 disposals up until half time. He's just working himself back into AFL football here. First came in a long time. The 8 kicks, 2 handballs. He's just had the 1 mark, 1 tackle. Untroubled the scoreboard as of yet. It'll be interesting to see whether he can fire up in the second half. Riley Thilthorpe, the big man there. Good to see him kicking straight. He's got his 2 goals from his 5 kicks, 3 handballs, also 3 clearances. Let's roll on down a little bit more. We'll see who else we've got there. Sam Darcy, the big man. I'll tell you what, he's been well held tonight. He's only had the 6 disposals. He's just had the 2 kicks, 4 handballs. Hasn't scored. He's had the 1 mark, couple tackles, 4 hitouts. That is it from him. Lachlan McAndrew. For the Adelaide Crows, he's had 6, the big ruckman, 17 hitouts, 3 clearances, going quite well. Just having a quick look at the team stats, all pretty well tied up. 197, 199, it's plus 2 disposals to the Dogs. But the inside 50s, the Adelaide Crows have scored 7 times for their 23 inside 50s, where the Western Bulldogs been inside 30 times. They've scored 12 times going inside there. Free kicks, well, the umpires have certainly put the whistle away. There was definitely free kicks there to be given, but the umpires, well, they just let the play go on. I'm sure they'll be looked at in the review there when the umpires have their review. Just looking at the clearances, the Dogs there +5. They're +3 in the centre clearances. Pretty level in the stoppage clearances around the ground, 12 to 14 there. But a centre clearances, Dogs doing well, 8 to 5 there. Contested, Dogs on top there. They're +10 there. The coach will be happy. Uncontested, Adelaide +7, and the turnovers 33 apiece. Although some of these stats are reasonably even, the Dogs certainly on top in this game. The marks, Adelaide, well, they're just chipping the ball around, aren't they? Look, 78 to 27, 51, +51 in the marks. But the marks inside 50, if you have a look at that, it's around the ground. The marks inside 50, 4 to the Crows, 6 to the Western Bulldogs. That's a staggering mark. 27 marks in the match there for the Bulldogs. They should be up around 49 going by a season average up until half time. Looking at the tackle count, well, this tackle count by Adelaide Crows, that is, well, what can you say? That's pretty well disgracefully extremely low. 17. Geez, they've got to lift their work rate up. 36 out of the Western Bulldogs. And, of course, as you see, the Bulldogs tackles inside their forward 50, 12, already above season average. And the Adelaide Crows just the 4. A lot of work to be done from Adelaide. They need to get, as I said, they need to get the game back playing on their terms. The Western Bulldogs pretty much got it on their terms at the moment. But it's going to be an interesting second half. Will it go the swing of momentum with the goal scorers, or will we get a few goal for goals? Tell you what, it's going to be a cracking second half coming up now. And that's where we're headed, folks. We're headed back down to the ground where the commentators are going to take over for the second half. That's the Bulldogs by 15 points as we head in to the third quarter.
Fantastic. So at no stage would you have thought that Norton and Darcy go in at half-time without having hit the scoreboard.
So there's the upside for the Dogs, because their big men up forward haven't fired yet. They still hold a handy 15-point lead. You try to kick, you've got to be an extremely good kicking side to kick through the defence that the Bulldogs are putting up. And the other thing that players are so good at today and defensive zones is they'll sit off and they'll dare you to hit someone because you can see him in a little bit of space. But they'll anticipate the kick and they'll get there and spoil it and create the turnover before you hit it.
So when Neil Diamond concludes, we're set to go in this third quarter at the Adelaide Oval. The threats remain of the big guns up forward for either team, even though so far it's been the lesser lights and the unexpected sources that have provided most of the goals tonight. The Bulldogs enjoying a 15-point advantage. Can they convert that to a third straight victory to start the season? Full house at the Adelaide Oval. McAndrew with hands on it first. And now Ed Richards trying to get the ball to behave itself. Rochelle with other ideas. English just pinches it and gave it to Bontempelli. Springs into action. Norton playing in front. Awkward one at his feet. Converge on Murray. Darcy beaten by McAndrew. Coming. Darcy tackler.
They had some good forward pressure at times. 40 tackles they've laid the Western Bulldogs for the half. Only 16 to Adelaide.
Butts is back guarding the goal front. McAndrew coming. Rankin. The ball was true and enables Neil Pullen down to try and create just a lot of keys. Too much as it turns out. Karmas had things covered for the Bulldogs. Off to Butterick and wide to Oscar Baker. 2 goals to his name tonight. Part of the reason the Bulldogs are leading by 15 points.
Williams on the board as well. So what's the mode of attack for the Bulldogs? It's long to the contest. Darcy right in the middle of it. Richards underneath in the clutches. Got some sort of kick away. Liberatore worked it well. Kennedy, Norton bought the first hand pass. He'll go himself. An inspired choice from Aaron Norton. And the Dogs strike immediately after half-time.
Well, that's class. We spoke about the fact they hadn't hit the scoreboard, Darcy and Norton, and he does it straight away. If he gives that hand pass to him, Richards gets closed down in a tackle immediately. He thought everyone's running away from him because they've got options. They're all following the options. He just took his time. He straightened up. He kicked the goal. And now the Crows are under some serious pressure.
Oh, yeah. I want to go back to the first time Adelaide went forward for the half, though. So they come out of the defensive half and they got Bookie Karma sitting on his own. They got no forward representation at all. And the ball gets kicked down there, comes back the other way.
Which is a great tribute to the Bulldogs' pressure because the Crows got +1 up around the ball, and yet they still had to hurriedly kick it forward under pressure, not hitting a target.
It's a terrible decision to kick when you got the numbers and when you got outnumbered ahead of the footy.
Easy to see the passion for the cause from the Bulldogs. Adelaide's turn. Rochelle fanning it out wide for Walker. Forced to wait. Backed his strength, but O'Donnell more than a match, but it got away from Rankin. Jakes was onto it straight away. Richards' hands were nimble. Sanders had issues, and he had the handball and hope. Rankin had the long arms that time of O'Donnell.
James O'Donnell was magnificent then. Taylor Walker tackled him and just had him in this sort of bear hug where he couldn't get up, and he finally got to his feet and he had to jump again. He's hoping the ball goes the other way right now.
His dad once scored 50 off 18 balls for Victoria here at the Adelaide Oval.
Saw him on the plane on the way over.
We did. Happy to sit in the background now. Socket forward by Dawson to Keys. Fogarty, it's time to lift. It's time to get the crowd involved. They're on the Adelaide cause. Their method of play hasn't engaged the crowd either, has it?
No, it hasn't, Hutto. So they kicked 6 goals and it's all been hard work. So the first 2 goal kickers, though, were the key forwards that we thought might dominate the game at the start. Norton's got on the board. Fogarty's got on the board. Not in the manner that you'd expect. This has come from stoppage. But just look at the ground. This is congestion around the numbers. Around the ball. There's no free flow at the end of it. He's just maintained his balance just then, Fogarty, to get a goal through. But maybe it'll open up a little bit. If it does, we might see some of that free flow.
He doesn't kick many goals like that, Darcy Fogarty, does he? He's more a mark, a free kick, set shot sort of operator. You've got to get him any way you can.
The Harvey Norman replay there. So 2 for Thilthorpe, 1 each for Walker and Fogarty. One for Norton, one for Crofts. So to complete the set, Darcy
Dilthorpe's in the
himself
middle.
a piece of the action.
Dilthorpe's in the middle as a midfielder.
Richards trying to win the skirmish. McAndrew had other ideas, and Berry brings the Crows forward. Tex is on the lead. He can wheel and go. He's done this his whole career. It's the unload. That'll get the crowd up.
That is exactly what this crowd wanted. And it's something we haven't seen much of, particularly from Adelaide Crows, scoring from centre baller. That's where scoring's gone through the roof in 2026. The way the rules are with the jumping ruckman, we're seeing lots of exits coming out of stoppages where you can deliver the ball forward, it goes to Tex, and all of a sudden his opponent overcommits. So he doesn't have to go behind the mark. He gets up and he just gets himself in range. Rory Long has to jump over so he doesn't trot on him. Might have been better just trotting on him and falling into his back.
A little bit of excitement though. They kicked 28 points from centre bounce to the Western Bulldogs last week. Adelaide Crows last week. So this is their first goal from a centre bounce clearance. And now there's a little bit of buzz. That's the sort of footy that's been recognisable early in this year.
Didn't kick a goal last week, had some important touches. Two long-range numbers tonight from Taylor Walker. Free kick reluctantly given by Rochelle to Ed Richards. So the margin is back to 9 and things feel a little different. Deep kick out marches Norton, maybe one step too many. Well defended again. The Crows get it out of there for now and they can make more progression. Rochelle able to turn around and see what was ahead. It was Fogarty. And it slipped past he and O'Donnell. It was a touch. Yes, it was. 8-5, 53 to 7-2, 44. Dogs with the first goal of the third, and the answers have come swiftly back from the Crows to tighten this margin up. Dilthorpe still playing as that on-baller opposed to Kennedy. McAndrew tapping it down in his direction, but Kennedy swiftly onto it, and then the fumble. If he did that on purpose, it was brilliantly done.
Yeah, they're very much aware of what Dilthorpe can do here. As soon as they won that centre bounce when he was in the clearance, Montepelli had him covered, had eyes on him all the way when he pushed forward, and now Kennedy takes responsibility.
Even numbers behind the ball for now. McAndrew plays it down, but it's Bontempelli onto it. Richards can't escape. Peatling wasn't letting him. He was an arm's length away at most. Scramble ball. Bontempelli full throttle through. But even the Bont can't control the footy. Luke Beveridge in his 12th season as coach. Matthew Nicks, after the disappointment of last year, had his contract extended and is as comfortable as ever been as coach of the Crows, but it's a big year for him.
The craft at the stoppage, Liberatore and Kennedy. Peatling had a hand in it, but Liberatore wins out. Darcy's going to get a free kick.
So, goal kickers this quarter. Norton 1. Fogarty 1, Walker 1, and now Darcy gets the chance to open his account. So maybe they're going to have their say yet, the big boys. It's a little left arm over the shoulders that they paid it for.
Vince was disappointed with the call. Sam Darcy has kicked 6 goals without really breaking a sweat so far this season. To complete the set of the big forwards. No. Fumbled his line.
Which the big crowd enjoyed. The margin is 10. And the footy is at fullback with Josh Worrell. Test for that left calf. Into Chase Jones. Worrell paces past. And looks fine. Driving ball, Dilthorpe was the target, a substantial one, and they charge forward. Pedler's on the bike, Rankin, Butterick, his old teammate, they were at the Suns, and it's soccer flash swing and miss in the end there from Rochelle.
It's supposed to be a soccer prodigy, Josh Rochelle.
I'll tell you what, it was the right option. He had a couple of Crows streaming to goal if he got a boot on it, but now he's been beaten for hatching it, lying over the ball.
Bit of change in approach coming out of their back half though. Took a mark, went to Worrell, Worrell went long down the line. More speed coming out of their back half.
They did last week, Gary, if you remember.
Yeah, they did. They changed it all up. Root kicked the 6 goals in the third quarter.
It's an expansive bring out of defence from the Dogs. Bontempelli, not the greatest of kicks. Norton, good around the laces, feeds Darcy. Hines ran on. Miller went with them. McAndrew's got to get it away. Fraser, Hines, the understudies can't quite.
Oh, that's a couple of really good opportunities the Dogs have let go begging it. Set shot from Darcy and then that snap there.
Hard labour done though by Kennedy. Reinvigorates them. Fraser could have kicked the fourth instead. The captain steps in and the big names continue to get added to the goal kicking list. Marcus Bontempelli, 3 each in his first 2 games, was on the end of another long kick in from Joel Fraser, and the Bulldogs seem to have the answers.
They do have all the answers. It was actually the right option coming out from the kick out. It was kicking to a 2-on-1, but the kick didn't get there. It didn't carry over the top. You can see the intercept there. You've got 2 players on one, and the one player wins it because the kick doesn't get over the top. And you talk about a great kick. That one there from Fraser to the Bond. That's just pure.
They denied him a 4th goal there by taking the mark on the
so they may sit back now and go, hey, we protected the footy. We protected the footy. But either way, they're getting scored against from turnover. It's the way that the Western Bulldogs are scoring. Unbelievably, have a look at where their scores are coming from. They've kicked 2 points from stoppage, the Western Bulldogs, which has been their strong suit. They've kicked 9 goals from turnover.
17-point leaders. Sanders and Fraser get to work in the centre square. They'll give the forwards another look. Bontempelli was out the back.
Adelaide pushing the back.
So he's resting forward now. The Bond, you've seen that in the first 2 rounds. He's kicked 3 goals in each of the first 2 games, and now he shapes and looms as a danger.
Neil Bullen makes the space for him. Brings it up to Berry. Next target going forward's not terribly obvious, so Miller in the patient game. Peatling for minimum gain. Michaelani, the overlap run. And they're going to run out of space right against the boundary here. Tech stayed down. O'Donnell did well again. Selwood brought it up the line. A momentary reprieve and a hand pass over the line. We'll see a straight turnover from Michaelani.
That's it. Get on the line, please. On the line, please. Last possession.
Comes back to Dale, who they managed late last week with his minutes. Some interruptions in the pre-season with a bit of a knee wobble, and there was just a more major wobble on the way out for the Dogs, but no issues in the end. Bontempelli, the steadying influence, the clever kick wide for Hines. As long as it stays in, it'll be clever. He gets the directions from Davidson down towards Baker and Norton again. The collaboration though between the Crows defenders was more impressive, and the juggling marker now 50. No? Umpire assessing that Baker didn't realise. They had a lot of metres to cover, didn't it, to get there? But safe enough. Michaelani along the line to Neil Bullen. So still the margin is 17. And the Crows trying to find a way forward, but it's slow going again.
Yeah, a couple of times they've looked to go more aggressively forward, but credit to the Dogs, I think.
Yeah, their defensive structure's been first-rate, Gaz. Yep. They are closing them down, forcing them to try and pick their way through a really populated territory.
Coming. So aggressive on the switch. See if they can find some space on the far side. Murray gets them going quickly. Jones now cooks up ahead of the footy.
Rankin.
Didn't go there. Rankin instead. Lob closes late. Ball loose at the back. Richards first to cover. Dragged off it. Crofts. Butterick. Dale wants support and has it. Richards a little fumble. Saligo. Rankin still lurking. Sticks the tackle. Archie tries to create. Berry will set it deep, but not on target.
So that shows you clearly that little passage here that Isaac Rankin hasn't quite picked up the tempo of things yet. Spent a bit of time out. See James O'Donnell just getting looked at after a bump with Tex, making sure there's nothing underwater. But he just waited for the footy, Isaac Rankin. He needed to attack it, go to it. You can't wait for it. You get intercepted.
Been a bit off all night, hasn't he?
Yes.
Ball bounce away straight to Fraser, who charges on, just 20 years of age. He was picked 45. He's playing an extraordinary game. That wasn't an extraordinary kick, as it turns out.
Intercept mark number 7 to Butsy.
A lot of talk about butts tonight in the box. Jared?
This is where they're going to...
Cannot lie, Hunter.
They've got to get...
Don't.
Pack forms. Bontempelli had a fly. Archie the crummer under severe pressure though. Got to be good to hold up here. Laird gave ground. Bontempelli's got a mind for it and the will to make it happen. Sanders and Williams just need one more link. It's not quite there, and Berry got dragged off it by Hines.
Got to switch it up. They're set up for the switch if they can get across. Just a bit slow.
Yeah. So Berry's eyes were firmly down the line. From the moment he backed off, Dogs are pretty well set. Lobb and Darcy were both there. Neither could mark. Saligo try. They're all reaching in for it. Richards. Archie sticks a tackle to put it back into dispute. Neil Bullen turns it over. Butterick, nice striding through the traffic. Gives it off. Bramble on the outside. He's got Jakes. Now the Crows have got one spare back, so the kick's got to give Norton a chance. Bontempelli stayed viable. Norton's free kick.
Late whistle.
I watched that whole thing. It was a 2-on-1, so Norton had both defenders, both key defenders, and he just refused to yield here. So he worked over Butts. He had Worrell, Mike Lanning coming back on him, and then Butts just, there's not much in it.
Not a lot in it.
Not much.
Pushed him in the side, didn't he?
His arm might have momentarily wrapped around, but not much.
He's kicked 2 goals or more in 11 consecutive matches, Aaron Norton. This would stretch that to 12. Norton kicks try. He's ironed that part out of his game as well. 2-1 and the Dogs lead by 22 points.
I feel from an Adelaide point of view that it needs to get to 30 before we might see them change the way they play. Like they've been able to hit back and they keep it within 15 points or 21 points. But if it gets out to a margin, it might force their hand because they still have been ultra-conservative. Now, if they think they can get over the top of the Western Bulldogs playing this way, then it would surprise. But maybe a little jolt to get them started from the back half to get some quicker ball movement. But it's now 3 goals to 2 in this second and third quarter from the Dogs, and the lead's open back up to 22 points.
As you alluded to, Gerard, his accuracy has been a real feature since he started going that goal-kicking run. 41 goals from round 14 onwards last year. The most behinds he kicked in a game was 2 since then. To half forward, Jones just hurls it out quickly, coming down the line to Keys. He's got company, he's got trouble. Well read by Berry, though. Maybe some power back through the midfield for the Crows. Rochelle, genuine one-on-one, and it's Archie. It was a clever kick. He can't complete the mark, and Karmas gets all the plaudits of his teammates again.
He's been superb, Karmas. Yep. He's beaten everyone that's come his way.
The best game I've seen him play, Gaz.
Yeah, whether that's a pure ball knock. He's had Archie, he's had Thilthorpe, he's had Walker. He's had Rankin at one stage.
Last week he did the job on Stringer and Hogan as well, kept them real quiet.
Thilthorpe couldn't quite connect with Keys, who gets bowled over. Fantastic hands from Saligo, enables Fogarty to walk in for his second. They are potent if they get it in there.
Well, they just stay close enough, don't they? So maybe they're looking at it going, we haven't hit our straps at all yet. We haven't even started to get going, but so Fogarty with 2, Walker with 1.
It's funny, Fogarty, though, because the 2 goals he's kicked, he's found himself in handball receive positions in a stoppage situation where he's got forward of his man and been able to get on the end of one and under pressure finish. He's done it well twice, but there's nothing coming easy for the Crows at the moment.
Hutto's points, 7 entries for 3 goals, 1 is when they do go forward, they look likely. But they can't stop goals coming the other way is the issue. So, interesting, 5-10 minutes.
O'Donnell's absence compounds that question as well.
He's having a scat test, guys. He's going to be downstairs for a minimum 15 minutes, and I reckon they're probably halfway into that.
Yeah, he's having a good term, and Petning got taken high. So the Crows...
If Thilthorpe off the ground with O'Donnell off the ground, you get him back on quick.
Deep entry, Fogarty's in the 4-man pack, and Buku rises above.
Crows' speed of ball movement, second lowest aggression towards goal under Matthew Nicks.
Yeah, it's been pronounced, hasn't it? And it has got them still close enough.
Buku Karmas thought he was going to have to head to Carlton to find opportunity, but he's been their first choice defender and done the job well through 2.5 games thus far. The Brittore always in and under. Baker just hoiked it away, and now the race is onto open space. Baker and Sanders to work it out together. Oh, we missed the hand pass to Sanders. How costly might that be? Worrell got worked over by Sanders. Keys kept it clear. Away to coming, wide for Pedler.
So Sanders' first thought then was to run off and get a handball and not Shepherd. Had he laid the Shepherd, he would have freed his teammate up.
Archie on the lead, just cleared him. McAndrew threatened for a moment, got offloaded, and Lob clears momentarily at least. Cummings going to get it. There's a lot of players around the goal square, so it had to be a shorter option. Rochelle, quick from hand to foot, with the Dogs' numbers. It's not intercepted, behind conceded, but the danger averted.
And so that's where it sits. 8 minutes remaining in this third term. 15-point lead. Bailey Dale. And Karmas just hiding at the half-back flank, has taken the mark. Stretching out right along the line. Bulldogs to the wing. Can they get beyond? Darcy knew he was out of position, and he pushed out a little high that time. And Luke Beveridge is not thrilled with that. Better be a little bit careful there, Sam.
Well, that might be 100.
That is just blatant.
That might be 100 metres.
And that's tested the mettle and the patience of the coach.
I think he's going to go all the way to the goal square here, I think.
It's excited and inflamed emotions around the Adelaide Oval.
Might be just the first.
It's only 50. Gee, he'd already copped 50 and then he grabbed by the jumper.
There's the second.
It had to be. It had to be.
Butts is going to kick his second goal. He hadn't had one in the lead-up. So we might have just seen the first crack in the Darcy veneer here. He's frustrated, he's been beaten, and now he's undisciplined and given away 250s.
So Butts causing that crack.
Bevo might be on the move here. He might be sensing it's time to get down and coach from the bench.
You just never know what to expect, do you, on any night at the footy. On a Friday night, Jordan Butts never kicked a goal before tonight. Now he's got two.
Oh, he's missed it.
Or has he? No.
Oh, my goodness.
That's why he'd never kicked a goal before.
15 metres out directly in front.
He did revert to type. He had been the right side of the line for so long tonight. So the Dogs are now got to settle after all of that. Jake's brought it down long. Croft didn't mark. Laird. He's got Neil Bullen working for him. And Saligo with a chance to drive toward the 50. Fogarty really is getting busy. 2 in the term already. How's he going to spend it? Right to the teeth of goal. Archie had to try, but the numbers were against him.
Let's watch what happened for Sam Darcy. Yeah. He got involved in an incident early on in his career with...
He got suspended, didn't he, for
and
a couple of weeks?
He played the rest of the game with this ferocious intent. So let's see how he responds, because he's let himself down and there's a little bit of spite coming in the proceedings.
It's a disappointing thing from the Adelaide perspective is if Butts kicks that goal, the crowd are up and about, they're up and about. It makes Darcy feel a hell of a lot worse, but he's been let off now.
Saligo tried to set them forward. Berry found a little passage. He was forced wide. He gets away from Pedler.
So it's interesting. Luke has come down, watched the runner. I haven't seen the runner go out to Darcy at all here. So just letting the young man work his way through it.
Berry up to 17 disposals. Chase Jones, 19. Is the late inclusion.
Yeah, Berry's been good. He last week nominally took responsibility for Nick Dacos, who had a terrific day, and he's had Bontempelli at times today as well. But he's found his own ball. This is delicately poised in.
And this is where Luke Beveridge thrives as a coach. He doesn't miss anything in a game. He can get there and he can sort of board out, put players in the positions and problem solve. Even though his team is 13 points up, this is one of the strengths of Luke Beveridge.
Yeah, there hasn't been a dramatic on the other side of the coin with Matthew Nix. He hasn't changed things too dramatically. He's stuck with the way they essentially wanted to play.
Bulldogs. Stand.
They've closed the gap marginally. It was 15 at half-time, 13 now. They're in the contest.
We've had ruck free kicks either way. English takes his turn. Darcy will have a leap into the pack. Couldn't hang on, so Butts thwarts him. Worked it away. Worrell up to McAndrew, who does look a player. I wonder what position he was in rugby union at that height. Just can't quite picture that. Thumps it up to full forward. Bulldogs were well stopped, and Selwood's got a good hit on his shoulders.
Looks like O'Donnell's come up, guys, and he might be ready to go.
Which could be critical, Root.
Yeah, he looks like he's passed his test, be very handy.
They don't look anywhere near as dangerous when Walker and Thilthorpe aren't in that forward 50 of the Crows. They've got to get at least one of them back on.
Williams bangs it up, but McAndrew, got no opposition he played in rugby union, but he's certainly cut out for a ruck in this modern game. Takes a nice mark.
He's going to kick it straight to his opponent.
Maybe he'd be better to handball off. Push goes the Bulldogs way to Bailey Dane. Not appreciated.
There's not a hell of a lot of flair out there at the minute. They just played much more conservatively, these two teams.
Jake's got a start to his career. 45 disposals over the first 2 weeks. Into Bontempelli and then to Kennedy. So lateral movement initially. Where's the forward thrust going to come? Just enough distance to Sanders. So
good defending though. Like the overlap run's not there, Hutto, because the defenders have sort of woken up to what's going on.
Just creeping and crawling their way along the wing. Kennedy's had enough. Darcy got there, Butts again right there with him. And infringed. Baker thought about taking the advantage and then worked through the percentages. And Sam Darcy.
Oh, this is a monster opportunity right now. He's been let off for a dual 50-metre infringement that cost a regulation shot for goal for the Crows, but they missed it. If he can go back and bomb one here from around the 50-metre mark, that is massive for the Bulldogs.
No doubt all that will be running through his young mind. We've got a blood rule, which will just give him even more time to think about it. It's just one mark tonight, Sam Darcy.
Oh, he's got plenty of claret flowing from the mouth, Jordan Butts.
Yeah.
An accidental elbow or a head or something.
What a night he's had.
Yeah, it's been good.
So here's the routine. From a long way out. Eyeing off. Crowd silenced again. The medal of the young man on display. He put all the drama behind him. And Bulldogs fans love him again. I'm sure they didn't really waver, but that is a terrific goal.
It's just made of that. You know he's made of the right stuff. And he let himself down, there's no question about that. But you can almost guarantee that he was going to get it back at some stage. And when the moment arose, he goes back and kicks the goal. I think there's something really special. I go back to that game, Hutto, where he got reported, and we all looked at it and went, oh, will he go into his shell? Well, he went to another level. He went even more aggressive. And now I think he's going to have a big say in what happens with Butts off the ground at the moment. It's a dangerous couple of minutes here.
Turn to the crowd after he kicked the goal. I don't know if it's a pocket of Bulldog supporters there or if
a couple.
He was giving it to the Crows crowd, but just the fist went up. He struck it beautifully. What a great answer.
So the cornermen need to do their work fast with Butts. It's a 19-point margin. Bontempelli gets the Dogs going forward out of the middle. Miller a first access. Bont came, crashed it clear. Dawson, though, settles it. It's a wild old kick. Selwood didn't handle that one. Buku at the back. So Karmas is calm and works it away to Lob. It's too wide.
That's that Riley Thilthorpe now needs to stand up and match the effort at the other end of the ground. He's had moments, Riley. Karmas has been good. He's a direct opponent.
Coming. He's going to go with the deep entry. See what they've got in the air. Fogarty was the most prominent target, but Lob got it to boundary better this time.
Have you seen Isaac Rankin's return? 12 disposals tonight.
Okay.
Hasn't had an impact though. Just hasn't really picked up the tempo of things. It's not quite at his best.
Understandable, I guess.
He's missed a lot of footy.
Still time, that's for sure.
And coming off a hamstring too.
Yeah, we know he's a moments man though as well.
Well, that's the thing. If they can get themselves close enough, he might be the one that'll kick you 2 goals in a couple of minutes to win the game.
Tough night watching on. for Matthew Nix. Another ruck wrestle. Shelley, the tackler.
Had a good quarter, Hunter. They've been inside 16 times to 11 and had 7 scoring shots. 3 goals, 4 has probably hurt them.
He's got to the outside. Rochelle, Karmas. Considered, and a well-placed kick to go with it to Jakes. And then the handball to Lob. He had enough time and space. Just launches down to Norton, who is a step ahead, but he drops the mark. Worrell was there to pounce through. Neil Bullen and Dawson. He's got Cumming running hard on the outer wing. Will he go? No, he hesitates. Crowd frustrated. Plenty of emotion, some of them spilling over at the Adelaide Oval. Dawson crunches it deep, and again the odds are against Thilthorpe. He wasn't far off the mark, but the Bulldogs defensive trio do the job, and Riley's a bit sore for all of that.
Bit of run though from Dawson. So using the man mark, get it to the big left foot, and all of a sudden you're deep in attack. Pressure back on the Dogs.
That sort of motion. And the Crows conjure at the stoppage to the front for Berry. Kennedy. Oh, that was a bit dangerous, and it might cost him the footy. Archie will be able to take a shot at goal. Hand on the ball at the moment of impact.
That was dangerous.
Callum Archie, purpose sport for the Crows. Kicked 4 in a grand final for the Lions. So Brisbane with great distinction. He can kick a clutch goal. Cal Archie to win the local crowd over. Not yet.
He too had an injury issue post the State of Origin. Kick in is marked by Fraser. Back to Dale, so they'll get it close to the wing. Norton pushing well up the ground, but last disposal. Isaac coming. Archie on the move ahead, but was not convinced. Thilthorpe at the back. Taylor Walker had the ride, but it's all Bulldogs underneath. The handball from Berry. Come charging through from Butterick's handball. Rochelle in a spin, that has so often been the case tonight. He just hasn't had the freedom. I guess that's playing on ball, isn't it, for Rochelle, as compared to being that dangerous darting half forward.
Crows searching for a goal before three-quarter time to make it a little more manageable. It's been like round 7, 8 and 9 of a heavyweight bout. They've spent a lot of time clinching against the ropes in this term. Fraser clears and Norton hangs on this time.
Smart playing in front. Aaron Norton, that quick kick.
Butterick. West. Oh, got clipped on the way through by Laird.
Who apologises.
The more officious umpire might have paid 50. West Norton's going to be in this contest as well, having a good jump. Bowls over Fraser, his own man. Darcy, Kennedy, Bontempelli's got busy in this term. Flopped it inside 50. Miller didn't quite clear. English keeps it alive. Davidson, the bounce eluded him, and Tex sorts it out. Puts it in front of Archie, too far in front of him. Dragged down Dale. Good stern stuff.
Great tackle.
So I'm not sure why that's not holding the ball. He had both arms free and he just hugged the ball to the ground and kept it.
All night long, that's a free.
McAndrew back on top of it. So big final quarter. We know that the Bulldogs, when Luke Beveridge has been at his best, have made great starts to seasons, as they did in 2016 and 2021 when they made grand finals. Of course, won the flag back in 2016. Since that 21 grand final, they've been 2 and 3 after 5 games each time. So 3 wins to start the year would just be a great dream for the Bulldogs. And they're going to have an 18-point lead as we head to the last change. Matthew Nix and the Crows with a lot of work to do if Adelaide are going to start with a home win their first game at the Adelaide Oval after a win on the road last week. It's the Bulldogs by 3 goals. They'll have a huge weekend of footy here on Fox Footy. And Jason demanded, don't forget the bounce. Sunday night, all the shenanigans, Gazy and Moons and Dicko. And, of course, all hosted by Jason Dunstall. That's Bounce ahead of first crack Sunday night.
All right, there we go, folks. It's 18 points, the margin here. So Western Bulldogs 11-7, 73, leading the Crows 8-7, 55. There just doesn't seem to be the intensity around the Crows game at the moment. They get that goal back and get it, as I said, within around double figures. And the Bulldogs just continue to step it up and just put the next one on, just to keep this margin out to around 3 goals. I tell you what, it's going to take a special effort for Adelaide to get up in this game. But I tell you what, if they do get close, they got the crowd on their side, capacity crowd out there this evening out there at Adelaide Oval. But the Bulldogs certainly doing it well. The ball pretty much, lived in the Bulldogs half in that third term. Let's see what happens in the final term. Crows, though, they put on 3 goals 5. 3 goals 5 in that third term. Inaccuracy of the kicking. The Bulldogs, so 4 goals 2. A little bit more accurate, stretched the margin out from that 15-point margin at half time. So they increased it by 3 points. All right, folks, just before the commentators come back, so we're only about 3 minutes away from the bounce of the ball. For the final quarter here at Adelaide Oval, we're just going to check the goal scorers now. And then the disposal getters. Let's have a look at the goal scorers out on the ground at the moment. Look, there's not a great deal of goal scorers combined for both sides, but here we go. Joel Frazier, still with 3 goals, 23 disposals, 3 clearances. That's a cracking game from the Bulldog player there. 3 goals, 2 leading the way out there. Aaron Norton, the blonde locks, I tell you what they say, he's kicked the last 11 or 13 games, multiple goals. He's kicked 2 already tonight. Aaron Norton doing his job there. Look, he's only had 7 disposals, 5 kicks, but he has kicked his 2 goals, 1. So he's doing a good job. Oscar Baker with the other multiple with 2. Bailey Williams, Sam Darcy. I tell you what, Sam Darcy certainly got a little bit fiery there. I'm not sure how he didn't give away 2 50s at the one time. The umpires just gave it 1. Lucky for him. The Adelaide player missed. Jordan Croft has got 1, and the Bont has bobbed in there with a single. For Adelaide Crows, though, we've got a couple multiple goal scorers. Let's make it 3. Taylor, the Tex, Walker, Riley Thilthorpe, Darcy, Fogarty. The big trio down there for Adelaide Crows. They've all kicked 2 apiece. Jack Saligo's kicked 1 with Jordan Butts. Jordan Butts was the one, 15 metres directly in front. Just slid to the right of goal there. So he's on 1 goal 1. Just looking at the disposal getters out there at the moment. Matty Kennedy has bobbed up to the top of the table there with Joel Frazier on 23 for the Bulldogs. Ed Richards starting to come into this game with the Bont, both on 22, Libba on 20. All Bulldogs players in the 20 in the top 5. The best for the Crows, Josh Roll, 19. Chancey Jones on 19. Jordan Dawson on 18. They are your leading disposal getters up until 3/4 time. We're going to head back to the commentators. We're only a minute and a half, a couple of minutes away from the bounce of ball for the final term. I tell you what, folks, don't forget to vote. We've got 61% of the chat saying the Western Bulldogs are going to take this game out. If you haven't voted, make sure you do that. Put your vote in, Bulldogs or Adelaide Crows. Who you think is going to win this game? We'll find out at the end how we all voted for. All right, that's enough for me. Chit-chatting here. Well, let's head back down to the commentators, down where the action is. We're only a minute away from the bounce of ball for the 3rd quarter, where it's the Bulldogs by 3 goals.
And hopes amongst the home crowd as it could start a real momentum surge. Sam Darcy, the young gun, a moment of madness. It cost him 50, but not a goal. As Jordan Butts had an opportunity for a second, Luke Beveridge struggling to control his emotions. Butts couldn't control his disappointment, but Sam Darcy showed His incredible steal to just calmly go back after receiving a free kick to slot the goal that has the Bulldogs 18 points up. We're set for a big final term here at the Adelaide Oval. Let's first hear from Mark Rashudo.
Oh, they've been the best side all night, very clearly. The Western Bulldogs have been much cleaner around the ball. They've been much tougher. They look like they've got more avenues to goal as well. So they look like they've got the game in hand at the moment. But Adelaide did look a little bit better there for a patch in that third quarter when they took the game on and got a bit of run on the play. Gary and the boys have been asking for it all night, and we saw it a bit in that third quarter when the Adelaide midfielders started getting a little bit of overlap run and used the ball a bit quicker. There's Isaac Rankin there, hasn't had a big night, has looked a bit shaky. We know that he's been out for a long time and has had a hamstring as well, but he has played 60% forward time and 40% in the midfield, so should have some gas in the tank. Can he play one big last quarter to get Adelaide across the line?
Just looking at that vision, when Darcy gives away the 100-metre penalty, I reckon Luke Beveridge says get him off, but then he doesn't take him off. He trusts him to clean up his own mess, which in a bygone era, that's runner out straight to the bench.
Yeah.
But he trusts him because of what you've said. He knows, he's seen him do it before.
I think that's knowing your player, Jared, and maybe your gut reaction to make yourself feel better is get him up.
Get the boy off of him.
And then you think, you just take a beat and you go, no, let's leave him out there, and he rewards him with a big clutch goal.
Dogs by 18 points. Thrilling finish ahead at Adelaide Oval in the making if the Crows can get going. Peatling will give them the first look. All the big men fly. O'Donnell is back on the field and back doing what he has done for 51 games.
They've been good the back half. Both back halves have been really solid.
Harness and Lobb. So those are the three that the Dogs have entrusted their tall defence to this year. And Selwood's been brought in to complement that. Can't quite find it, Williams.
So that's 72 uncontested marks in the first half. The Adelaide Crows, they took just 21 in that third quarter. It did change up a bit, but it didn't really coincide with a lot of run and ball movement. Interesting now, looking down the barrel, whether they're more aggressive going forward.
Beveridge has gone back to the box for the start of this final term. McAndrew Ham to it first, but sharked by Bontempelli. Norton hits the pack hard to jar it free. Morrill overwhelmed by some of the pressure that came. Kennedy earns a stalemate.
Thank you. Thanks, Isaac. Just blood roll, mate. That's it. Cleaned up. You're bleeding me off.
The big Ruckman's coming off with the blood. Really, he believes that he should, but he is. Sometimes they give you a chance to stem it, do they? If it's not flowing too much, but
too much flow on that one.
Thorpe comes up, takes the ruck, and Pedler comes on. He's been quiet, Pedler. He can kick a goal, but he's been quiet.
Just the 5 disposals to the outside, the Thilthorpe tap, but onto it Liberatore. Back to Williams. Even numbers. So a contest. Oh, it's no contest. It's Butts again.
Number 8. 8 intercept mark.
Drives it straight back to the same patch. Walker and O'Donnell got big on Williams. O'Donnell kept on coming. Question raised by Keys as whether there was a disposal in that.
Been impressive, James O'Donnell. He's a player that got to the to footy a bit later, and Luke Beveridge has maintained the faith and says
right from the start when he was a fish out of water initially.
Yeah, he was, but
he just played him, didn't he?
I think Luke sees big upside, and he gets better each week.
Jordan Dawson has shaped the odd final term here in his time leading the Crows. Peatling will get the free kick. Advantage. And the advantage belatedly paid. So Thilthorpe directs play through Walker, and O'Donnell's there again.
So we're looking at some sort of intent from the Adelaide Crows.
Something different, Gaz, and I don't know if it's going to come.
We're waiting for them to pick something off through the middle.
Are they capable of doing it?
Yeah, maybe it's Dawson who's going to take control.
He's had 19 possessions, Jordan Dawson, but it hasn't really had much impact on the game at all. We're used to seeing him do a lot more with the ball by foot.
Victoria sticks the tackle on Saligo. That's the last we saw of the footy.
So what an opportunity, the Dogs here, to start a season 3 zip, having played the reigning premiers and also the top of the table home and away team at home.
Well, only beat 2 finalists last year in 9 contests. It'll be 3 out of 3 if they win tonight.
Well, if I'm in tonight, you're looking at the premiership favourites because of that start you're talking about, Gaz, no doubt.
Yep.
Butterick marches out of there. Darcy, an important touch. Davidson and Worrell to contend with, but caught. Yep.
Been impressed with this side of it for the Western Bulldogs, and it was right from the opening moments of the game, wasn't it?
Yep.
So they made the tackle. The first 2 goals came about because Baker was aware to intercept, and then there was a tackle late in the goal square. And now this is another potential goal.
Narrative of their pre-season. Everyone talked about the defence. Well, the way they were going to improve their defence was the pressure, the whole tooth and nail.
It's also something that Aaron Norton has made a point of getting involved in.
And as a result of that, he can go back and kick his 3rd goal. And now the task gets even more daunting for the Crows, and the crowd gets even quieter.
Maybe he was just a little bit slow on the uptake, but all of a sudden Aaron Norton has worked out that you can actually get goals from doing defensive stuff. And he's tackling everything that comes to him. You don't have to take the mark or get the ball to kick the goal. You can actually not be in possession and still find yourself in position to impact the game. And he's worked tirelessly in defence when he hasn't had the ball tonight.
They've kicked 8 goals for the night. They're going to have to kick 5 and more to win. So this might be that impetus. They've got no choice now. You can't be slow, can't be conservative, you can't be kicking around your back half for 40 uncontested marks. You've got to go forward. Take the game on.
They were a little longer by disposal and aggression towards goal in the 3rd quarter than they were in the first half.
The Dogs led by 20 in the first quarter, 21 in the second quarter, 22 in the third quarter, and now 24 in the last. They threatened to get out the front, but Liberatore couldn't quite get hold of it.
Aaron Norton's kicked 48 goals in his last 12 games, guys. He is in red-hot form. He's the 6th-rated player in the competition since round 16 last year.
It's a good run for a game.
So we showed you 1, 2 and 3 for the Dogs at the start, and they've got 6 as well. English trying to get it to Fraser. Thorpe had other ideas. It hasn't gone particularly far. Selwood with a big spoil. Fraser on the follow-up. Ball got loose though. Archie, neat pickup. Saliga hunted down by Norton. Foggy works his way around O'Donnell, but O'Donnell held up the footy. Buku tossed it up to Williams. Selwood into the tackle of Tex. Just allowed himself to be driven back over the line.
Selwood and Bramble and Jakes and Butterick and rock solid back there.
Not happy fans. The Adelaide Crows.
A bit frustrated, I reckon.
No doubt, Roop. Not the start we would have imagined here at the Adelaide Oval. Dawson momentarily held without it. Archie had it and lost it. He's penalised. They're trying to improve the move.
Trying to make the play. He was just a little unlucky. Couldn't quite control the ball as he was working his way through the pack.
And now the Bulldogs can play a little bit of keepings off again. Fraser, what a night he's had. Darcy marches out with no opposition. Clever little block by Hines.
Yeah, Butts, who's been good all night, just was on the back foot. Couldn't get to him, he was gone.
And once he was beaten, he didn't go. So now he stayed back and he's waiting for this next kick. He's almost loose in defence.
He's taking the 30 seconds here, Big Sam.
Well, why wouldn't they play some tempo footy and use time when you can? The Bulldogs, they're in no hurry now.
Does he really think he can?
Oh, not with that.
Bit of a sidewinder to the square.
I mean, does an umpire sit in and say, I know you think you can, but you're kidding yourself. Keep going.
A bit like the unrealistic mark attempt, isn't it? Some it's not that unrealistic for, but others you shouldn't be doing.
He builds the Dogs lead the game high 25. Miller are looking for Thorpe on the way out. He decided to knock it on and it works as Pedlar shrugged the tackle of Lob. Delivers it up for Rankin. Just a bit of ring rust going on is his return. Buku got it away from Liberatore. That's no good coming forward though. Miller and control the angles here. That is a risky kick. It will find its way to Butts. Archie. The Crows will be well served by some risk, perhaps. Fogarty on the long lead. We've got 2 targets deep. Tex has got double coverage against him. Swooping through.
That is a classic soccer goal, isn't it? And there's your first look at what the Crows want to do, Gaz. It started at half-back. Miller took the mark. He just rolled and went into the middle. It was called the dangerous kick, as it was. And then even when the ball got to Fogarty on the far side, he rolled and went and just got it in quick.
Spot on. Hallelujah. You've just been screaming out for something like this now from halfway through, from half-time, really, to give yourself the chance to get a scungy goal like that, a mongrel goal off the ground. You get a contest, Tex just gets up for a 2-on-1. That's a fantastic effort. Looked unconventional. Bring it to ground. Maybe this will light the fire.
You doubted his soccer skills, Gary?
I did.
That's a good finish from 15, 20 metres out.
Oh, yes.
With 24 points down, you've got to go. So they just went, they kicked the goal. Will they keep going? That's the question.
It's a Coles goal for a Shelley. And it's back to 19 now. Out of the middle. Great tackle from Rankin. Left Fraser in a heap. The footy was called to play on. Berry does that to Walker. Angling out hard. Suddenly the intent is back. And deep is Dawson. Can't mark. Keys can't kick. And the Dogs all slipped over. Was there enough pressure? There was.
Two opportunities missed. Dawson looked like he was going to swallow the mark, and then Keys fumbled when he could have picked it up and kicked the goal. But they're rolling and going. And the crowd's in the game.
And a bit of nervousness for the first time for the Bulldogs in the back half.
The crowd has been desperate to get into this game all night. Stowell didn't find Hines. Neil Bullen dropped it on the turf allowed.
Oh, that is a late kick. No, it's a very late whistle. I think he was waiting for the umpire in control to call it, and when he didn't, he said, no, I saw him, correct disposal.
Hines has bitten off the kick. It's high risk. Archie closed. Keys works it around. Salino checked the kick, and Dawson will have the shot.
There's a young man with inexperience. Hines going into the middle when he didn't need to. They don't need to attack like that from half-back. They go into a corridor.
They go to Kellarchi, the man that read the play and came on and made the spoil, and Lockie Jacks, courageous as all hell, backing into the pack.
He got polled. He's feeling it.
Yeah, that's a big hit. That is a monster hit.
But completely in the act of spoiling the ball,
of course,
which is all Archie wanted to do.
He's a tough kid. Look at him. But this is in the hands now of the captain, who's got the opportunity to close this to 12 points and have a stadium just erupt. It's incredible. A little bit of urgency.
He looks like he's been cleared out there. Thank you, James.
So we can hobble back inside the 50 as all eyes turn to the Adelaide captain. The stage sets for Jordan Dawson to assume the responsibility of the moment and bring Adelaide to life. The Crows are finally closing.
And not before time. And maybe when it stayed around that 13 point, 19 point, 21 point, it gets to 24 and they go, hang on. We've kicked 8 goals, we're going to have to kick 5. We've got to get moving. And now they're moving.
And Big Tex recognised the moment, Gaz, when the goal was kicked. He took off, he sprinted another 30 to go to Archie again. He high-fived a couple more on the way back, generating that enthusiasm. Maybe they can play one good quarter of footy and still win the game.
Yeah, and so over to the Dogs now, who've had it in control. They seem to have had the answers all night long. So let's go to the middle of the ground. Rankin put himself in there at the last set of outs. He's there again. Berry's in there with him. Saligo's there. Richards and Sanders and Kennedy. Bontempelli's forward.
Volume goes up. So does the urgency. McAndrew, good follow. Jakes is okay. Bones rattled.
Good lad.
Kick was good to Williams, who's over still the march on Archie, and he bounds away. The Bulldogs head deep. Croft doesn't fly. Norton sent to by Murray with a mighty fist. Back through the middle. Sanders saw a little gap. Fraser, the paddle was superb. Jakes' moment to kick his first goal turns into a handball to Richards, and it doesn't make the mark. It falls short, and Cook, doing what a good winger does, getting back and provides coverage. Below the kick. There is a challenge.
Guys, I reckon Archie's done his hamstring behind the plate, just going to try and impact the play at about half forward.
He overcommitted.
He's done it twice in the pre-season, one in the State of Origin game, one before Christmas. And I reckon he's done it again.
Yeah.
So the lasso was costly there where it landed. Bramble up to the teeth of goal. Keys runs into Bontempelli and releases for the conceded score.
He can barely walk. It's going to take him a while to get off too, Archie.
Very high.
Yep.
Really sad for you.
I was trying to jog, but that is not helping.
Crows playing on 40% this quarter. Jace, just
Going to make a difference, guys.
Go.
Into Laird. So short for now. Michaelani. Big grid ahead of them. On every line for the Bulldogs.
Well, they're one down too. That's the other thing with Archie coming off the ground.
Walker. Early body work on O'Donnell. And then in and at them. Given they are one down, if they can hold it up at the very least, even better, they win the footy. Neil Bullen to half forward. Karmas over the top of Dawson. And he's won it again, Karmas. Another high ball to half forward. Bontempelli pushed Miller under the football. Miller certainly thought so.
I've been impressed with Jakes. He gets poleaxed. The next time he goes, he's as clean as a whistle. There's the hamstring to Archie. And then he pushed forward and got involved in the forward play. That is a nasty hamstring.
49,185. 13 points down the home team. Saligo trying to get to work. Sanders thwarts him.
The other thing that can be difficult for a team in this scenario, we're sitting here saying go quick, take risks. There's a difference between going quick and being rash. And they've got to pick that difference and not cough up the easy goal because that'll end all the momentum they've got.
A lot of frolicking unsuccessfully. English and McAndrew set themselves. Berry under fierce pressure from Kennedy. Saligo confronted by Bontempelli. Williams, Bont works it around. Sanders didn't get it initially. Took a yard or two. Dawson had the same idea. Rochelle and Rankin just a little fumbly again. Able to get it though to Neil Bullen and the Crows do break. Keys weighted it perfectly. And Rochelle with the hands this time.
Take the set shot. He's a good kick at the footy normally. 40 out, 45-degree angle. They've worked it in there again with some quick movement. All of a sudden the ball's on the ground. It's up for dispute. And there's a few little fumbles creeping in for the Bulldogs as well.
He loves the ball in his hands in big moments. Josh Rochelle, he'll be completely comfortable
Gets him
on
back,
the big stage.
Gets him back to 7 points for all he can kick.
That's right. Into single figures with a true kick. Josh Rochelle seizes the day.
Not only the kick, it's the work rate involved in this as well, which will be really impressive. What a fantastic response from the Adelaide Crows. They give up the first goal of the last quarter. It's 24 points the margin. They're looking down the barrel. Just look at Rochelle and his involvement in this here. Bang, first hand, give. Then there's a little fumble and he's off and he starts pushing forward. Fraser it is that lets him go. Dale lets him run straight past him. He runs into the hole and then goes back. And like we lauded, Sam Darcy soaked the pressure up and went bang and put the game right back on the line.
Celebrated with his teammates rather than the crowd in that moment too.
Oh, now you've got a game on.
Back to 7. Berry gets balance to centre half forward. Selwood. The heat is on. Better time for Bontempelli to Richards to bring the calm and the class to Davidson. Norton had 3 Crows around. Butts took it and gave it to Berry. Big night for him. Out to Cook. Settles from half back. Well-weighted ball for Philpott. They're a different force all of a sudden, the Adelaide Crows. A much more powerful one. Deep. Karmas in the middle of the storm. Look at Pedler. How hard he hit it. It deserved a goal. Walker's kicked his third. Cue the mayhem. Footy season is here in Adelaide. The Crows close to within 1.
They've been inside 50 7 times in this last quarter and kicked 4 goals.
But another thing that's happened, guys, they've got on top in the clearances. 4 centre ball up clearances to zip. They get another chance here at a fifth. And it is just, for the first time tonight, really put the Bulldogs under pressure because they're taking the game on. But they're winning important 50-50 balls. Pedler put his head down and just went, knocked a couple over, and then got the hand pass out to Walker, who finished. This is big time.
If he didn't know better, he'd just say rope-a-dope. It's just been a rope-a-dope. And now they are on the back foot, the Dogs in a big way. They've given up 4 in a row. They a solitary point ahead.
Gee, that was good by Pedler.
Yeah. He had played 19 minutes in this final term, 4 in a row. Bontempelli's going to have his say. Thumps him in deep. Norton and Darcy are the targets. Murray made the spoil. Ground ball to be dealt with. Jones on the spots. Defensive with his hand pass. Worrell searching for a target. Rankin.
Oh, they're all bobbing.
They are all rising to the occasion. Incisive kick to Dawson. Crowd is out of its seats. Dawson takes them on. Found a bit of space. Check the kick up. Keys a fumble. A paddle. A retrieve. A knock on. And Pedler puts the Crows in front.
No, it's a free kick. Coming back, is it?
Oh, it's coming back. It's coming back.
Gone against Keys, I think, for taking the legs out.
Ladies and gentlemen, please resume your seats.
So that's the dive where he's taken the feet out and they've paid the free kick.
Now the realisation gradually settling in. Oh, look at Norton's leap on the wing. So the Crows are going to dig deep and try and do it all again. Norton.
Well, that's the thing. They've hit the front and then had it taken back off them. Can they get it back again?
They hit the front. No, they haven't. Up again on the wing. Croft rucking, but being beaten by McAndrew. It's going the Bulldogs' way through. Williams off the instep, straight to Miller.
They're charging here.
And they go.
Amazing what momentum can do and belief. Worrell for Chase Jones, and they are chasing him. He takes the mark on the wing. He had an option over the top. Pedler running rampant at the moment. Jones a little more considered. He goes deep. He goes to Fogarty.
It's just overwhelming.
One-way traffic.
We've all been in these situations and it is just coming in at record speed and you just can't get there. All of a sudden this defence of the Dogs that had coverage all night are getting opened up.
They've spent the night chasing, narrowly ahead for a brief moment in the second quarter. But Darcy Fogarty won't kick a goal. It's on the line, it's into the post.
Start again.
Scores a level.
Start from scratch.
All 25 points retrieved in such a short period of time. Time on that is a risky kick. Roll there to meet it. Hand passes it away. Fogarty short. Was that 15? Rankin makes it up on the spots. Oh, wow! The road to redemption is paved by moments like that. Isaac Rankin with a whole fan base to celebrate.
Did we not speculate earlier, Gaz, that he's the sort of bloke that can bob up and do something that might win you the game, even though he hasn't had a big night?
That's Eddie's pocket.
Of course he was going to. Of course he was going to do something before the night's out. Have a look at this. Tied up against the boundary with Marcus Bontempelli in his face, and he slots it. And he slots it to go a goal ahead. Who's writing the script? Have a look at the pictures after he kicks it. Look at these moments. This is the newsreel in Adelaide. Wow.
That's what you pay money to come to the footy for. Imagine those people in the crowd there thinking, I've just witnessed a cracking goal.
He's back. And just to add to the chaos, we don't know how long there is to go. High ball from Richardson. Some confusion around the clock and how it's being displayed. Crows off half-back. Cook. Suddenly that is going straight ahead, straight towards goal. Walker with one arm. In the end, it wasn't enough. Butterick, now it's over to the Bulldogs. Liberatore. West. Worrell. Davidson, look at Worrell, the grip. the determination, the adrenaline which is pumping amongst the players and the umpire. No doubt they'll be feeling it in the coach's box as well. Quickly up and at him again. English. Marginal gains to half forward. Cook denied Sanders. Bontempelli did the same to Dawson. Cumming, Kennedy, West, Liberatore in a rush. It's wide. Murray and Norton, the push and the shove. Murray maintains his balance. Has to get out of there somehow. A handball along the line. Miller up. The rule plays a part. High ball. Selwood with a fist. Knocking it forward. Jones. The pack collapses on him. More seconds tick away. We don't know how many more.
But it's not just us, it's everywhere, the whole venue.
Yep.
So 24 minutes have been played in this final term.
Like old-fashioned.
It's the old counting up, not counting down.
Liberatore gets it inside. Got to win a contest or two, the Dogs. Michaelani escorts it across the line.
Yeah, so we look at who's been kicking their goals. It's their senior players, so Dawson and Walker and then Rankin. So it's over to the Dogs. Let's see what Bontempelli's got. We always go to Bontempelli.
Richards is there as well.
It's got to be another 5 minutes or so. There's been 6 goals kicked.
Spiked away by McAndrew. It didn't get all the way initially. And that's good work from Sanders to keep it alive. Chainsaw hit by Rocher. He got sold a punt there. High from the out of zone umpire. Jakes rises with the footy.
Good decision too, it was there.
Norton and Darcy are deep. Kick goes a little shallow. Williams hunting. Oh, he's in underneath.
He went to Tim English, who'd taken the third game, and McAndrew down there just to see if he could stretch him.
The Dogs need something from a stoppage. Richards was on the move. They all had him in hand. West, not enough space to create. Murray absorbs the tackle and all the pressure that goes with it.
It's a hot footy in there.
McAndrew to the outside. Rochelle stepping through the keys. 5 minutes remaining. The old 5-minute warning. Keys stands up. Adelaide is standing tall. None taller than that. Well, actually, there is one taller than Riley Thilthorpe. With Ed Ruckman, Rocky McAndrew, but it gets over the boundary line and out of bounds. James O'Donnell's been doing that all night, but suddenly they can't just defend.
That was a massive spoil, a big-time spoil. Thilthorpe looks set to take the mark.
Dogs have got to conjure a goal. Richards can't find any space in which to move at the moment. It is so tight around the footy. Liberatore cut off by Dawson. Has Cook, Miller up. Tackles coming from all angles. Dawson just takes a few yards. Can Keys get there? Excellent.
So Michelle's been big in this last quarter. Dawson big in the last quarter.
Ben Keys told the guy in the crowd to hold on to the ball.
Cluttering. Launches it up for Darcy or Norton. Norton brought it to ground. Oh, and then he collared Jones.
Too early to try and kill the game now. Still got to keep attacking when you can.
22nd disposal for the late inclusion. Up to the wing. He went to McAndrew and English. O'Donnell. Still 4 minutes left, as we alluded to. A lot can happen in that time. A lot has happened through the night. There's what Roo was talking about.
Smart.
Yeah.
He's a character on Ben Keys.
They've been going hard at it all night. Have they got, and how much have they got left to give?
Yeah, he ducked into it, Chase Jones.
Good decision.
Should be 50.
Quick hands, Davidson off to Liberatore. Head down, bottom up from Lever. He goes to Norton, who can't hold on to the footy. Nothing is easier at this stage.
You just feel like a bit's going to happen in the last 3.5 minutes, don't you? We might have some lead changes.
As Rankin roll finished for the night, or will we see him again late?
His work might be done,
yeah.
It might have been enough.
3:36, 65 metres from the Bulldogs' goal. Bontempelli bursting through, but a fumble from Kennedy. And the Crows through coming, close it out.
Players tired, the heat's on, fumbles starting to creep into the game.
Rory Lobbs pushed forward.
Yep, and Fogarty's gone with him.
Richards is just a yard at a time at the moment. Batted back. Davidson's turn. He can put it in a little more meaningfully. Darcy flings out the front. Bontempelli worked it around. Williams. The Dogs are not done yet. Scores a level.
It's a great finish, and they got a great contest. So the ball comes in, Darcy works his way. Butts has been magnificent on Darcy.
They've spoiled everything coming in, guys.
They have, and got to ground. Bontempelli, look at the read from Bontempelli. Don't underestimate that. The crumb's not pure, but the read is magnificent. And Dawson's his opponent, who's just off him, a metre and a half off him. He gets the hand out, and then the finish is absolutely superb. He couldn't set this up any better.
How important is this centre bounce clearance, guys?
Yeah, it is everything. It is everything right now. So the big guns are in there. Bontempelli, though, is inside forward 50.
And Rankin back on the ground into the Crows forward 50.
With Jakes as his partner, kicks socket out to the wing. They flew. Davidson keeps his feet, then misses the footy. Richards gone from Kennedy. He might be within range on a long kick. Oh, will it be the long arms of Darcy? No, Butts got a touch to it, but they are in front.
So 2 minutes 40 on the clock. Can't be too cute here.
Don't have to panic, though.
Crows have to win it all over again. Long on the way out. Rochelle jarred it clear. Selwood underneath had it picked off. Neil Bullen's kick was smothered. Clever stuff. O'Donnell doing his bit. Bontempelli 2 on 2. The big forwards are there. Darcy fed it off. Baker set the tone. Might have closed it late. Oscar Baker amazed even himself.
Come on.
As incredible as the Crows' comeback was, that finish there is ridiculous. The tightest of angles running at full pace away from the goals. The kick around the corner, I don't know how he did that.
Oscar Baker's kicked 3 goals, Jason. He's kicked a match winner from the boundary, running to the boundary. He's unbelievable. Bontempelli involved again, so Bontempelli sets up the go-ahead, or the goal that squares it, and then kicks the ball forward that Baker finishes. That's his moment.
It's that kind of night, isn't it? We've seen Jordan Butts kick his first goal, and Oscar Baker's taken a decade to get to 50 games and kicked 16 goals before tonight. And they lead by 7, but there is still time. We've seen this before. Like the fumble from Dawson made it awkward, and then clean ball at half forward with Cummings. So all of a sudden, everything is flying the Bulldogs' way again. Bramble, driving kick. Crows need to win it back, but this time it's Darcy reversing the roles, and he made the spoil. And how effective was it?
He's cramping up, Jordan Dawson.
Let's see what happens behind the footy here. They put someone, the Western Bulldogs, behind the ball. Doesn't look like it at the moment. Even numbers.
He was right next to the bench, Jordan Dawson, cramping up, but he's decided to stay on.
2 goals in 2.5 minutes, and the footy at the wrong end of the park. If you're a Crows supporter, you need your skillful players to lift. Rankin along the line, Fogarty, so everyone is out of position. Faulty handball to Richards. Now to Bramble. He curls a little lefty back towards Norton. West try to sneak in. Worrell to Laird. Dance the dance required. Murray back to the wing. Decked. As he kicked, so it's
going to go back.
Coming all the way back.
They're going to free it up. Crows are going to go from their defensive 50. Have to free the whole thing up.
The last time we saw the clock, there was 2.5 to go. I'd say there's a minute and a half remaining.
Minute 27.
So they've got one now behind the footy.
Got to go now. You just have to go now.
So the not 15 probably helps with that. Worrell gets to Peatling.
He's got to roll and go.
And they've got to score twice to salvage something from it. Miller up. It's got to be straight up the middle. Dogs set their defenders. Selwood spoils, will get a free kick. The long foot out from Tex.
That hurts.
He's got a burning clock now. Go backwards, you got Lob back.
Yep, why wouldn't you? You have Karmas on one side, Lob on the other.
The look on the Adelaide Crows' face. Is there only one mistake away, though, from getting back in the contest? Davidson looks to recover. Neil Bullen, and now it's Saligo's kick along the line to Tex Walker. They're not dead yet.
42 seconds, we got the clock back, Hutto. Can't wait.
Got to kick the miracle goal.
The seconds are ticking. Taylor Walker knows that. From outside the field of play. Well, they've got the point. They've got the point.
Oh, jeez.
24 seconds to settle this once and for all.
You're looking for a mark, or you're just loading up one side?
You got to man up. You can't allow the little chip into the pocket.
How quickly could we get provisions for extra time? You wouldn't want this to end that way. Dale brings it into Selwood.
That is a great kick by Dale. That's what they couldn't afford to let happen.
They didn't man up, guys.
So Selwood can take the yards down the line. Just got to square the contest, the Dogs. Darcy with the fist to do just that. Rankin out of his grasp, but it feels out of Adelaide's grasp now.
Time for one kick inside 50 from a clearance win.
It would take something quite miraculous.
Dogs will try and bring it straight down and just kill the stoppage.
English with one more deed to do against McAndrew. Worrell down in the tackle. It's a win to build a dream on. First Brisbane, now Adelaide. The Dogs 3-0 start of the season. Scorching last quarter. The Dogs were 25 points in front. Adelaide went a goal up, and then the Dogs steadied themselves and went right back.
It's been a strange evening, Jared. The Bulldogs have been impressive, but the game being even for 3 quarters under their control, and then all of a sudden the Crows found something in the last quarter. They threw caution to the wind. They played on at every opportunity, and the goals started to come. And just when it looked like they might be too strong, the Dogs came back.
Let's get down to Mark Prosciutto.
Oscar Baker, 3 goals and one of the goals of your lifetime. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's a bloody good feeling, mate. Just so proud of the boys. Obviously, Adelaide fought back really hard there and looked like they had all the momentum, but for us to stem the flow and go back at them and get away with the win is a bloody good feeling, especially coming over here in Adelaide as well. They're a bloody good team, so yeah, mate, just so stoked.
How did it feel when they were coming at you? What were the boys saying out on the ground?
Yeah, we just try to stay as positive as possible. It's a cliche, but we played some good footy tonight for 3 quarters and probably took the foot off the gas for a little bit, but as I said, for us to wrestle it back when they had the momentum, just so proud of the boys.
Right, we're just having a look at your goal now. It's pretty unbelievable. What a start to the year for the team, though. Knocked off the Premiers on their home deck, smashed the GWS, and then knocked off Adelaide on their home deck. That's a big start.
Yeah, it's an awesome start, mate. I think you said at the start of the year, it'll be 3-0 going into the bye. Obviously take it. We've been some bloody good teams as well. So, yeah, awesome start by the boys. Hopefully refresh over the break and hit the ground running again after the bye.
Good on you, mate. Great game.
Thank you very much.
It's an interesting game from Oscar Baker, wasn't it? You kind of figured he had a big impact with his 3 goals, but it's only 8 possessions. It felt like he had more than that.
Well, he's got a golf podcast called Duck Hook Golf. He and Anthony Scott and a few of the Doggies boys. It was a bit of a duck hook goal, wasn't it?
It was a beauty.
He'll take it. What a goal.
We saw some quality finishing in that last term. And it is not easy when you've controlled a game, then all of a sudden the home team with a big crowd, capacity crowd gets behind them and they have all the momentum. It's not easy to then change that, turn it up and then come back again. And Bontempelli was a big part of what happened. He got some critical clearances and touches that resulted in forays forward and getting that goal, or the 2 goals that they needed. That is one heck of a finish to a game that didn't. We built it up to start with. It didn't live up to it for 3 quarters. And then, my goodness, did it come good in the last.
Yes, it was all sort of film noir for 3 quarters, understated and full of tension, and then it broke out into the action blockbuster that we came for.
Yeah, it's exciting. I think they're both going to be really strong teams in 2026. I mean, the Crows, we have to give them credit because for 3 quarters they couldn't get their game going, but they still found a way to hit the lead late in the game against a team we know is a quality opponent.
And they had some issues, didn't they, on the bench with Laird first and then Worrell off and then Archie finally actually did the hamstring. They had to work their way through all of that. Jordan Dawson was cramping near the end, but no consolation for them really tonight.
You made the point around the Bulldogs. They're +8 on the competition now. Not many teams are going to go to Brisbane and beat the Lions and come here and beat the Crows. It's a big head start.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So, and to be able to bank those sort of wins early in the season, the luxury it may give Luke Beveridge and the Bulldogs later on in the season is managing your list better and apportioning game time and all those sorts of things when you're not absolutely desperate to win every game to try and get into the finals, but you're already there and you're sitting in the top 4. It becomes a lot easier to try and manage the way your season unfolds.
And we know their story as they haven't finished in the top 4 under Luke Beveridge. So for all he's been able to do to win a flag and to get them back to another grand final, this has been the missing piece to have a season of excellence that actually sets you up for the short way home.
And if they can stay fit and not lose players, I mean, Waitman's been the one that's been missing for quite a long time now that hasn't been able to get right and get back into the mix, but they've got a pretty good list aside from that.
It's worth reiterating that, Jared, just the journey under Luke Beveridge. He won a flag in his second year. They played finals, lost to the Crows in 2015, and then, of course, came from way back in 2016 to win. But after that, they've just spent so much time, haven't they, around 13th, which was their only losing year where they had more losses than wins in a season. Jumped up suddenly to finish second in 2021 when they made a good start. And since then, it's been either just in or just out of the 9th last year, which, of course, could get you in the finals this year. But jumping away to 3-0, both those 2 years when they made the grand final, they made great starts.
It was 6-0 in 2021 and 4-1 in 2016, and he made the point. They've been stuck at 2 and 3 for the past 4 years. They've chased their season so hard to try to make something of it. Now they get to set the tempo of their season with a 3-0 start.
It's extraordinary. A premiership coach and multiple grand final coach, and yet he's been under scrutiny at different stages through that journey where people thought he wasn't getting the best out of the list that should be doing better. But I think they've recruited really smartly. They look to have strength in all parts of the ground.
Joel Fraser, that is an extraordinary get up at 45, isn't it?
Correct. But they don't look to have any apparent weaknesses. That's the great thing about it.
Well, I mean, the defence has been the big question, hasn't it? Both as a team and in personnel. But Karmas has obviously got a more pivotal role back there. And so far, they're holding up. Michael Selwood, he's been out. Young Lockie Jakes as well. There's Buku.
Well, that's the other thing. While they're growing in confidence and the performances are going really, really well, they're also introducing new players. So blooding more depth into the squad. All of a sudden, you've got competition for places, which is the best thing to have.
By the end of it, Bontempelli had 30, Richards 29 and Liberatore 28. So for a lot of the game, it was Fraser and Kennedy who were guiding the way. And then when the chips were down late, the class really rose. They put their shoulders to the wheel, and against heavy set momentum, that's a big way to come back.
We've talked about a lot tonight. Some amazing numbers, isn't there, on the night? The different styles that were played. There's the marks that were taken by the Adelaide Crows, 119 to 61. But that's not the number that matters, is it? It's not the number the Bulldogs will be concerned about at all. Their tackling is a hallmark of their performance tonight. 71 tackles to 47. And that pressure turned into 14 goals and a 6-point win. And the Bulldogs fans that are on the road in Adelaide will be absolutely thrilled they've made the journey. They've paid the extra price for the petrol or the plane tickets, but it was worth spending every cent.
I sat next to a mother and daughter Bulldog fan who've been planning to do this for years, and this was the time that they chose, and didn't they choose wisely?
They chose wisely, yes.
Nothing quite like a win on the road, is there? At the start of the season, Gary Lyon, what a performance by the Bulldogs.
They're just walking in here, led by their captain Marcus Bontempelli and Matthew Kennedy. It's a small but hardy group of Western Bulldogs supporters that are here. And I tell you what, they'll be pretty delighted with what they were able to achieve. They got down by 6 points, the Isaac Rankin goal, and they found a way to get their nose in front. So they got big Tommy Hawkins, they got Geordie Lewis here ready to go. And I think they're going to belt this one out, boys, because a win on the road is the best sort of win. And they've now beaten the Lions and they've beaten the Crows. Let's have a listen. Relief, joy, I'm not sure, a little bit of everything, Geordie and Tommy, but it was a fantastic win in the end. They got headed, they gave up 5 goals in a row, they were down by 6 points, they were looking down the barrel, and they found a way to win.
They sure did, and Bevo talked about the hoodoo here at Adelaide Oval before the game. They certainly broke that. I mean, they were the best side for large portions of the night, but you can see what the win means to the football club. Everyone's excited. There's nothing quite like winning on the road, is there, Jordan?
Yeah, and they had to face a different Adelaide side. Let's be honest, in the fourth term, they defended in a different ways. We wait for Joel Fraser to come. Get out of the road.
Sorry, yeah, it's not that, mate.
You can't see Friday night footy player of the match is Joel Fraser, as a young man who's going places in a hurry. What a fantastic night for you. Well done. Congratulations. 3 on the bounce.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. It was close in that last quarter. It would have been great footy to watch, but yeah, really proud of the boys to get it done, especially at the end. A few little moments and a few spectacular goals, really, in the last couple of minutes, so it's awesome.
Yeah, your first quarter, you really set the scene for your side. Can you talk us through the ebbs and flows of the game and you know, how you were so damaging forward half of the football?
Yeah, I think there were a lot of ebbs and flows tonight, but yeah, I think my teammates helped me a lot in the role of play, gave me a lot of opportunities. I thought I still left a few out there with skill error and stuff like that, which a little bit frustrating, and that was a little bit of a theme as a team through the night that we talked about at half-time, but just had to put that head down the second half and make the most of opportunities that come.
That fourth quarter was different to the first 3 quarters. It seemed like it was a slow sort of keepings off game in the first 3 quarters. Then you get a different Adelaide in that fourth term. But you must have been proud of the way that everyone rallied around and defended it, especially that fast-moving Adelaide.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they were pretty good. Like, they kicked some goals, some really, really skillful goals. But yeah, as I said, in the last sort of 5 minutes to defend and stop the momentum, I mean, that's the loudest I've heard a crowd that I've played in. So that was unbelievable. And stop that momentum and then kick the last 2 goals was pretty impressive, I thought.
And challenge late. You obviously, physically, that was a taxing game. Like, looking around, clearly they've just played 4 quarters of footy, but there's a few taking in some breaths.
Yeah, definitely. My housemate, Lockie Jakes, I think he did well to get back up from that one. Yeah. So he's got a sore back, but my voice is going. Yeah, it was great.
Some of those young boys, you live with Lockie?
Yeah, I live with Lockie.
What sort of a housemate is he?
Yeah, Cooper Hines. Yeah, he's a great young fella from Geelong, so both country boys, and Cooper Hines as well, country boys, so we get along really well and been living together for about a year now. So.
Great young fella. How old are you?
20.
Who is it your house or is it a rental?
Yeah, rental.
Right,
yeah.
Who does the cooking?
We all do. We all like to think we're pretty decent, so about 2 nights each a week and gets the job done.
What's the dish of choice?
Oh, I'm a big salmon man, so a little salmon bowl. Coot loves his steak, so we'll get on the barbecue about 2 or 3 nights a week.
The boy from Horsham loves his salmon bowl. I never thought I'd hear that. Did many come over from home, make the trip?
So I've got Dad, Mum and my sister couldn't come over. They normally come, but I've got Dad and 2 of his mates. They actually drove from Horsham this morning, 5 hours over, and I caught up with them about midday, and yeah, just go really enjoy celebrating with them.
Is this a normal thing? Did you get hit in the throat or something?
Oh, mate, I was trying to yell over 50,000.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But,
where would you say, for people sitting at home, where would you say you played tonight? What position?
Like forward and mid. Starting as a forward, and then the transition game, through the middle of the ground and between the forward and midfield. So but then centre bounce as well. So it's a bit, forward mid-roll.
How important was this win at Adelaide Oval? We spoke pre-game to Bevo about your record here and 0-5. I'm sure you guys are aware of it. Maybe he even addressed that at the start. How important is that win? You've knocked off a few top 8 sides in the first 2 rounds. Now you come over and beat the first side last year. How important is the win here? And certainly another box tip with a top 9 side.
Yeah, definitely. I think the win in Brisbane especially, and this one as well. I mean, after both games, we come together as a team and, just really took a moment, like 20 seconds or so, to address how important it was. And because last year, that's where, we couldn't make that next leap. We lose those close games to the top teams by a goal or 2. So really value these close wins there.
Hey, mate, we're going to let you go and go and catch up with the old man. Do you have a little quiet sneaky beer or not?
Might have one.
Yeah,
I think he needs one. I think he needs one for that boys.
Well done.
Why not?
Great work,
mate. Enjoy the
Joel Fraser, who was outstanding. He's our KFC Fried footy player of the match. And what a play, 18 touches and 3 goals in the first half. Couldn't get away from it.
7.
All right, folks, there we go. It was the Bulldogs in tell you what a cracking final quarter, folks. What a cracking final quarter. 14-10-90 for the Doggies. 13-10-88, the Crows. Margin 1 goal. Tell you what, when the Crows got that goal or so up, I just didn't think the Bulldogs were going to come back, but they did. They got back there. As Addy says, they're probably premiership favourites for at least this week. I think that's 3 from 3 now for the Bulldogs. So they're sitting pretty much on top of the ladder, I would assume after that. Fantastic effort, though. That being said, Adelaide really only got a part of their game going tonight, and that was in the sort of the final quarter, and they look really good. But the Dogs' defence was good also throughout the night. Hey, let's just check out the goal scorers for the match. Taylor Walker ended up with 3 goals for the Crows. Riley Thilthorpe, Josh Rochelle, Darcy Fogarty, all with 2. Saligo with 1, Ranky with 1, Dawson and Bartz with 1. For the Bulldogs, Aaron Norton and Fraser and Oscar Baker, the miracle goal, all with 3 apiece. Bailey Williams with 2, Sam Darcy, Jordan Croft and the Bont came in there with singles. Only one player to hit 30 disposals on the ground. And of course, it's the Bont, Marcus Bontempelli. Tell you what a cracking second term he had. Second half, I should say, and fantastic last quarter. 30 disposals, 12 kicks, 18 handballs, 3 marks, 6 tackles, 7 clearances and a goal. Fantastic. Ed Richards, 29. Libber on 28. Matty Kennedy, 27, the best for the Crows. Josh Burrell, 25. And Jordan Dawson, also 25. There we go. Joel Fraser, who was leading the disposal count for the first 3 quarters, ended up with 24 disposals and 3 goals too. So a great effort from him. Sam Berry on 22. Who else we got down there? Let's just roll. Jared Butts, 19. Rochelle, 18 for the Crows. Alex Neil Bullen was 17. Isaac Ranky kicked a fantastic goal from the pocket there, right on the boundary line. 16 touches. He needs to get a couple of games under his belt to get back into the swing of things. 16 touches and a goal for Ranky. Tim English, 15 touches there for the Doggies. 32 hit-outs, 5 clearances. He did quite well. Riley Thilthorpe kicked 2 goals, but was reasonably well held there. 13 touches, 9 kicks, 4 handballs, 7 hit-outs, 3 clearances. Lachlan McAndrew for the Adelaide Crows, 13 touches, 38 hit-outs, 6 clearances. Well done to him. Sam Darcy, he got a little bit stroppy in moments throughout the game. 12 disposals, a little bit quiet, but he wasn't too bad in that final term. 1 goal, 10 hit-outs for him. Tex had the 11 touches, 3 goals, 1. Calamachi went off, which looked like a hamstring for the Adelaide Crows, which wasn't too good. Just having a quick look at the team stats before we roll out. Only 4 stats, the difference. Disposals, the difference. Inside 50s tightened up, 52-58, plus 6 to the Dogs. There we go. Hang on, that didn't load up, did it? Let me just double check that. Oh, there we go. No, that's right, 52-58 there, just rolling on down. Free kicks, I tell you what, they gave a few in the second half. 18-23, plus 5 to the away team of the Doggies there. Hit-outs all the same, 45 apiece. The clearances, Dogs are just on top there, +6 around the stoppages and +1 out of the centre. So both mids doing a good job out of the centre. Contested, +12 to the Doggies, so it was pretty tight by both sides, as was the uncontested, just +8 there to Adelaide. I just want to head on down. Adelaide always well in control in the marks. It sort of evened out in the second half. They were about the 50-odd mark ahead at half time. Marks inside 50. Adelaide actually got +1 on the board there. Just want to have a look at the tackle count. Of course, Adelaide putting on about 30 tackles in the second half, so it was a lot better effort in the second half. Bulldogs, high pressure, 71 tackles throughout the game, 20 inside 50 tackles. That is absolute ring-a-ding-ding fantastic. Season average was only 10, so they did a hell of a job there. But that is all we've got for this game. Don't forget, there's a few more games coming up over the weekend. I'm not sure whether I'll be able to cover any. I will just have to wait and see. But tomorrow, if you're going to tune on in somewhere around the globe, Richmond take on Gold Coast. That kicks off 1:15 p.m. Melbourne time at the G. Following that game, the Giants and St Kilda at Engie Stadium. And following that, tomorrow night, 7:35 p.m. Melbourne time, Freo take on Melbourne over there at Optus Stadium, which is going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game. That is for sure and certain. And of course, Sunday, 2 more games. Port Adelaide, Essendon, and West Coast versus North Melbourne. So some interesting games coming up over the weekend, folks. Hey, do we have a look at the... there we go. Just want to have a look at the live poll we did in the chat there. And of course, 56% went for the Western Bulldogs. Well done, everyone. We picked that one right again. Congratulations. I'll tell you what, the live chat are pretty good at picking the winners here. They certainly know their AFL football. All right. Hey, Addy G, thanks for coming in. WR7. Yeah, the timer, I tell you what, the timer was a bit crazy because it was just counting up. There was no timer there anywhere that showed time left in the game. It was like the good old days when you go to the footy and you just see the time going up, so you'd never know the length of time remaining. So you know what? It in some parts it makes it a little bit more exciting because you just don't know when the finish is coming. Thanks, Paul, for jumping on in. WPP, thanks very much. The Bluta, hey, good stuff for dropping on in. Albert, thanks for popping on in. Also, good to see you. And David popped in there. Thanks to everyone who came on in on the live chat, listening on into the coverage of the fantastic game by these two sides. I'm not sure if I can quickly. Let me just have a look, folks. Let me just have a look. All right, let me just pull this up for everyone who's out there. There is the live ladder at the moment, as you can see, with that win of the Western Bulldogs after playing 3. They're on top of the ladder, sitting up there on 12 points, 137.2 their percentage. They are in the top 6, that's right. Forget about the top 8 now, folks. It's the top 6 and the top 10. It's a little bit different, isn't it? Second on the ladder is the Gold Coast Suns, of course, who play tomorrow. They've played 2 and won 2. If they win tomorrow, which you think they would, they'll go on top of the ladder. Sydney Swans, they're sitting 3rd after playing 3 games with 2 wins and a loss. Hawthorn sitting 4th with 2 wins out of the 3 games. Of course, North Melbourne to play, just with a 1 win. So it looks like it could change tomorrow. Western Bulldogs at least on top of the ladder for a day, and then the Gold Coast might take that top spot. As I said, I think they're playing. Did I say they're playing Richmond tomorrow? Yeah, they're playing Richmond tomorrow. MCG 1:15, so it should be a fantastic game. But one you would think the Gold Coast wouldn't get back on top, but that it is for the Adelaide Crows. Well, they'd played 2. That's only their 2nd game, so they've still got a game in hand. They've only won 1, lost 1. They're sitting 7th currently on the ladder with a game in hand, so that's all right from the Bulldogs and the Swans, who have both played 3. Collingwood inside the top 10. They're sitting 8th, as is Geelong 9th. Giants 10th, and the rest down there. There we go. I know, Eddie G, we thought Richmond maybe to make the top 10 at about the $18 mark. Well, it's going to be an interesting year for them. They didn't play too well or too bad last week anyway, even with that loss. Only a 4-point loss, I think it was. All right, folks, that's the ladder. There is the result. Another ring-a-ding-ding game. It was the Western Bulldogs by 6 points here at the Adelaide Oval. Tell you what, it was another cracking game of AFL football. All right, folks, that's all I've got for this one. Hey, until next time, thanks very much. Ciao for now, and we'll see you at the next game.